This cave network does not appear to be a natural formation.
What the hell?
Oh man, that sounds like a Halo line to me. Welcome to Halo the TV series, or whatever the little subtitle thing is.
Life is pain,
Halo.
and so is
This
this.
is Pain, and I'm Crimson Maroon, the host.
I'm a geeky writer.
And I'm the character Sinister Boy.
And I'm Sprinks.
And we really suffered through watching this pilot. I think, at least I did personally.
I
Yeah,
had fun.
And
I'm a Halo fan, so this one hurt.
precisely what I was going to bring up. I was going to ask everyone's history with the Halo franchise. So I guess, Ryder, if you want to say yours, since you're a big fan.
Well, I guess first and foremost, I mean, just I grew up on the games. I started really, really young. Young. Yeah, young is the correct word for that. And it was quite the mess, really. In that, like, it was a lot of fun for me as a kid because I didn't really pick up the story at all.
Just shoot and kill aliens.
Yeah, just shoot and kill aliens, the good stuff, you know. And then it wasn't until much later that I kind of rediscovered it at a friend's house via Halo 3. Thought it was like the greatest thing in the world, and then I replayed. I found Halo 1 again, and I was like, oh, this is the game that I was beating up jackals with, because jackals just had unlimited blood spill in Halo 1.
This is the game.
Yeah.
And
Super dark blood. Purple
yeah,
blood.
and it was definitely an experience. But as I got older, I obviously came for the story more, and it was very good. It was I was impressed with the story. I still love it to this day, and I like Forward Unto Dawn. It was a nice little mini like Halo movie. It was low budget, but it felt I don't know, it felt good. It was satisfying to both the fanboy and didn't really break anything about what I loved about the show. I'm sorry, the games, or the story. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I love Halo, and I wish the TV show was good.
Alright. And I guess I'll go. Halo was my first rated M game I ever played. I very much enjoyed it, and I was definitely in the seat of being terrified of the flood since I was, I think, 11 at the time. Yes, scary. Definitely sticks with you. I played all the main games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Reach, ODST. Ryder's trying to get me through Halo Wars 2.
Halo Wars 1.
Well, 1, but we'll get through it. It shows you how long it's been since we did that. I saw Forward Unto Dawn. I thought it was good as well. I had a couple of the Mega Block sets.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
Yeah, I had the Pelican and the Hornet, I think. And it's just all around great franchise that apparently people don't understand because they didn't play it. Hint for behind the scenes here. Yeah, I guess Sinister. You're up.
Yeah, I definitely I came to the Halo series pretty late because I didn't have an Xbox until I was pretty much almost a teenager. Almost or at a teenager. I don't remember when I got my Xbox, but I had a friend who had an Xbox and he had a Halo Reach, and so I played it over at his house, like one of his birthday parties. We didn't actually play the game, though. We just played the Forge mode, which I still love. Had a lot of fun with that. But then I didn't probably actually play one until a few years later when I was on a trip with another friend in Seattle. He brought his Xbox with me. Played like pretty much like the whole campaign of Halo Reach, which is still probably one of my favorite memories. So then, of course, I ended up like probably backtracking and playing like the first ones a little bit later, which I do like, but I probably will always have a soft spot for Halo Reach just because that was like the first one I played. So yeah, it's my little story.
And last but not least, Sprinks.
My history of Halo, I believe, starts when Halo 3 was a Games with Gold for Xbox, and I think that was back in like 2014, 2015. So I downloaded that and played Halo 3 completely, went through the whole campaign. And then I got around to playing, I don't know which one's next. I think I've played or at least touched every single Halo game, I believe. But I've only beaten 2 of them, I think.
3 and 1, right?
3 and 1. I think those are the only 2 I've beaten. Yeah, it's a game that not necessarily holds my entertainment, I guess. Like I play it, but by myself it's not enticing enough for me, I guess. Definitely more fun in co-op campaigns or playing with friends. And then
Audience, let him have it down in the comments. Blast
and
him.
then never had Mega Bloks or anything. I was just never really into Halo
It's fine.
that much.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
All right. Well, I guess one more thing before we actually move on to the show is your favorite game. Sinister already said Reach. Mine would probably be get the pitchforks ready, 4 or 1. So a lot of people probably don't like
Funny
that 4's up there.
we had a conversation about 4
Yeah.
recently.
So that's mine. Sprinks, you've only played 2, so which one of those 2?
3.
Ryder?
You see, this is a hard question for me because I think
The
all
entire series.
yeah. I'm gonna go with
Spartan Assault.
I'm gonna go with my best overall game, which is like story, gameplay, multiplayer, forge mode. Best all around is probably gonna be Reach, but like if I break it down, story's gonna go to Halo 2, stuff like that. So
All right. Decent cover, I guess.
I'm glad I picked the only one that doesn't have Master Chief in it.
Well, I mean, he kind of made an appearance
Kind of, yeah.
in a pod at the end.
I mean, okay. Yeah, let's just go. I might derail here, so let's...
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first thing I want to bring up about the show is the thumbnail on Paramount. Shows the whole cast with all the Spartans' helmets off, except Chief. I'll just point that out.
yeah, because Chief doesn't take his helmet off, right?
Correct. We've never seen him with just his face, other than the little eyes at the end of Halo 4 Legendary.
I would also like to point out that at some point we're gonna have to do like a whole review on just Paramount Plus, the app in general, because that is
It's great.
Pain.
Yes, I had to use that yesterday, and I was thoroughly disappointed.
Yeah, would you just wait till me and Crimson talk about our Discovery experience on Paramount? It hasn't been great.
Yeah, no, it has not. All right. So I'll go mostly scene by scene here, and if you guys have comments towards the end of a scene, just blare it out, I suppose. All right. So we're opening on the planet Madrigal, which is a Tier 4 heavy water extraction planet.
And it has a little subtitle for that as well.
It does.
Classic. Yeah.
That's how I know that. And we pan to this extraction spot, I guess, this little facility or base for these rebels.
Is that a space elevator? Is it supposed to be one?
In the middle of the
Compound? Yeah.
I think it's like a refinery.
Yeah, I think that's just the water extractor, because it doesn't go up infinitely, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Like,
so.
Yeah, and they did like well, they did. I will say this: they didn't really specify, but they did lock it down, I believe.
Well, if they had a space elevator, I think they would have put the civilians in there to take them off.
I will say it didn't look like high
that's
tech
true.
enough for anything more than So
yeah, I don't think it was a space elevator. And we get to go to this bar where just a bunch of these rebel people are
bunch of yokels.
Bunch of yokels, and the TV's playing with this guy Vinsher Graff saying that General Jin Ha was, I guess, the leader of this camp right now.
All real people.
Yeah,
those are actual names.
Graff is a real person. Yes.
Yeah.
Is on the television talking about how the UNSC is essentially using all these people as slave labor to get cheaper prices for their heavy hydrogen. Forgot the exact name.
Boy,
that was another name they gave it.
That's not applicable to anything in real life.
Yeah. It was. They call it deuterium later on, like the.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's all made up. Come on, let's just keep going.
Well, I actually looked that up. It's a real thing.
The deuterium?
Yeah.
What does it do? Does it deteriorate over time?
No. It's actually being used for prototype fusion reactors. So.
Yeah, I mean that's
one
why
of the writers did research for this, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's why all the warp cores in Star Trek run on deuterium. Yeah.
Is it an actual fuel in real life, or is it just for the?
No, it's.
Well, like I said, it's for prototyping right now.
Okay.
So could be in the future, being worked out right now.
Oh.
And we get introduced to this character who's just known as the Professor, which is this old guy. Talking about how experienced he was fighting the UNSC.
Don't get too attached.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yes, don't get too attached.
Don't get too attached to anybody in the Halo thing. Come on.
Yeah, we get this rookie
Marine.
Guy,
yeah.
Who's like, I fought Marines.
They all start laughing.
They make fun of him.
Yeah, they laugh at him. Call him a bitch baby.
That's exactly it. Up to this point, does anyone have anything to point out or add?
I like how the place looks.
Yeah, it has a nice down like rundown like underdog rebel feel.
That's like something like I don't know. This might be like a weird like niche thing, but like I don't really like a lot of the times. This is a little bit off topic, but like okay, when they do like a medieval show or something, they make it look pretty nice for the most part. Not off, I think there's been a little bit change in that, but like what I loved about like earlier interpretations of it, especially like Monty Python and the
Bring Out Your Dead.
Well, yeah, like you could smell that movie because it just looked disgusting, right? I mean, people were covered in mud. There was all this shit everywhere. So I always like it when kind of like, I mean, not necessarily that all rebels and and stuff would be filthy, but like it's not like crisp and clean. There's not like all that stuff around. I kind of like that appearance more because it seems more realistic to like the culture, or or at least in like the standards would be different because it's not like a military operation in the general sense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that they didn't just try to like make them look like a big military complex or something.
Like
feels authentic.
Rebels did, at least in the second one.
They kind of did, but it was I'll give it
run down much.
It wasn't, but it was ramshackle. That's what I liked. That it still felt like authentic. But anyways, that's what I have.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this scene other than the broadcast tells us that these are pretty much the rebels and they don't like the UNSC. So,
which is I guess a little. We never really see that in any of the games. Like what other people feel about the UNSC because they're always the good guys.
Not in the games, but they are touched a lot on in the books for sure. I think the only other thing of note that I thought it was odd, but I have to give credence because it's evidently it's a different timeline, so it's just knowledge that I have
Yeah.
to absorb.
You know,
Is that Spartans are well known in this universe, and that doesn't happen till really late in the Covenant War, typically
Uh,
in the games and stuff like that. So
I also, just because, a little prefacing, because of what's going to end up happening in this show, I said this when I was watching it with Crimson. I was like, I would complain that they did a different timeline, but I'm actually happy that they decided not to fuck with the the canon.
I think all of us are.
Yeah, so I'll give them credit for at least thinking that far ahead, where they're like, we should make sure this probably isn't like the legit timeline and do a separate one.
Yeah, if this was the best they could do, I'm glad it's not canon.
The best decision that these writers made was not put it in the canon timeline.
Yeah. We also hear that one Spartan is equivalent to 100 Marines, and they can't die.
Yeah.
I think a Spartan's worth way more than 100 Marines.
Well, at least from what we saw, it's
Thing up there. And then Jin asks where his daughter is, Quan, everyone's favorite character in the show, I'd imagine. Very likable.
I only know from the pilot, so.
Yeah, let's brief. We only watched the pilot. We don't know how the story unfolds, but we've heard from many sources that it doesn't get much better. But we're only reviewing the pilot, not the entirety of the show. So
I mean, yeah, I'm wonderful character in quotes.
Yeah, I hope some of the complaints get corrected later down in the show, but who knows? Because I don't think I'll be watching this soon. Ryder and I will probably watch it at some point.
Yeah. No, why no? We've got to finish our other bad shows. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we cut to Quan and her 4 friends running through the woods, looking for drugs.
Looking for drugs. The seeds.
Drugs.
Yes, the things that kids do. Look for drugs.
I mean, yeah.
They are hip and such, right?
Yeah, hip and such. They actually said the names of the 4 friends in this, which was a surprise to me. I'd watched this for a third time.
That means they're going to be around for a while, right?
Yeah,
they're going to be around for a long time.
Esso, Faz, Nuru, and Kara.
Esso? Like the letters S-O, so, or just...
E-S-S-O.
Esso, okay.
The E is silent.
God.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, and so were their parents. They were silent too.
Yeah. No. This has nothing to do with the character, but if it's a cultural thing, I'll take away my criticism here. But the haircuts are not great.
It's future haircuts.
I still.
That's what everyone's going to be wearing 500 years from now.
Well, I won't be alive then.
Yeah, thankfully.
We'll miss the worst of it.
Well, yeah, with the trajectory we're going on, probably. Sprinks, have you got any thoughts thus far?
That the drugs that they're getting from these plants fuel ships, so it's ship fuel that they're putting in their bodies.
It's fuels your ships and fuels your drugs.
I thought like the line of dialogue I think is like. Follow the hydrogen, follow the drugs, because I think it's supposed to grow around. It grows like around the fuel, but not necessarily in the fuel. Yeah. At least that's how I interpreted it. It's not great.
She says heavy hydrogen powers your ships and your drugs.
Yeah.
So the drug could be a byproduct of the heavy hydrogen, I suppose.
Yeah. It's enhanced by the fuel, but it is not the fuel itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's it.
I mean, that's what we got to go off of.
We might be filling in some gaps here. Just
it's pretty minor overall. Unless these drugs play a big part later in the show, who knows?
Yeah, there's gonna be like
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
This is Chekhov's gun. All right.
It is. How useful are these drugs going to be? Are we going to drug a profit?
they are going to be the peace offering for the Covenant.
Stop killing us humans. We'll give you drugs. All right.
That worked for the opium, right? Chinese opium.
Someone
We
how
no
someone brought it up.
backlashes from that. Yeah.
And in the background, when they're about to take their drugs, Quan sees a flash.
Yeah,
And
bit of a
she
shimmer.
just leaves her friends to go
Who are
investigate.
tripping balls already.
Yeah, they as she's
Fast-acting drug.
yeah as she's walking away, they're all like they're still swallowing it, and they're not high yet, but they're already like starting to get loopy for sure as she walks away.
Yeah, and she comes across a phantom, and with what appears to be a cave getting carved up. And she runs away because
She has no idea what the fuck it is.
Yeah, that's true. Doesn't even know what the Covenant are. We'll cover that.
I mean, they have the outset that they're bad. I mean, they like if you see something with high energy going around there and it's not supposed to be there, it's probably bad.
Yeah, probably good. And then we get something I'll compliment the show for, which was a camera shot of the camera going through the forest, following her, and spinning around her and her friends, looking back where she came from. A nice shot, I thought. Yeah, all right. I guess that's that. And we get probably the best scene of the episode. If anyone wants to describe it.
Well,
great detail.
I believe Sprinks was heavily in liked this scene a lot, so I think he should.
Yeah, as soon as I saw this scene, I thought of Sprinks. So,
A child gets eviscerated.
a child.
Well, at first, a child gets eviscerated, and then the whole squad, the whole group of friends get killed one by one.
Yeah, the
Very
plasma
vicious
shots are
man.
very meaty for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They made them very meaty in this show.
Very.
Because in the
Full of
games,
meat.
they don't really feel that impactful. But in here, it's like you're getting shot with a grenade or something.
Well, these kids don't have shields.
It's true.
It's true.
All they have is their body parts to get blown off.
And the drugs
one
to
got-
hide the pain.
Yeah,
That's true.
The drugs, they don't really know what's going on yet.
They don't know if this is real.
Yeah, if you were on drugs and you saw like Covenant coming at you, would you like? That'd probably like break your mind, probably, huh?
Well, because you don't know what the Conan are. You probably just think it's some weird trip, right?
Well,
strong these drugs are.
it's propaganda. That's pretty much all they know.
Propaganda.
I thought it was just UNSC propaganda.
I was throwing a fit when they said that line, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
The UNSC edits footage. Don't you understand? Yeah, I guess Faz was the one that got shot in the head immediately. The first one gone.
What a really wonderful character Faz was.
Yeah.
Splattering their blood all over Quan's face.
Yeah. Shot
Leaving him
in the head is a little bit of an understatement. His head exploded.
That's true. There was no head anymore.
There was nothing left but the blood on everybody's faces.
Yeah, and then they're all screaming, and then Esso gets shot and flung into a tree. Crazy
Legs blown off.
hysteria. Yeah. Well, not yet. That one was Kara. Kara lost her leg. Then they start running away. Oh my god, it's freaking aliens or something. I don't know what that is.
Even though we're technically aliens to another person.
That's true. We're aliens to them. I don't think that was running through their heads though while they were on their drugs.
No. Obviously not.
And we get Nuru just disintegrates. They edit it where he's just there, and then they cut him out and put an explosion there. They didn't even overlap them. It was
Classic.
very apparent and lazy looking on the CG side. Disintegrates, and then we get Kara, who lost her legs, and then her life. I don't know what she did to deserve that, but
She did
She did drugs.
she did drugs. She had it coming.
Yeah. Remember, kids, don't do drugs.
They
Otherwise, the
should've
Covenant will
kept
come
it.
and vaporize you and all your friends.
Honestly, okay, this is like a little bit, off topic, but if like the frickin' like no, what was it called? The like don't do drugs slogan. What was that? Dare. Yeah. If they had just shown videos just like kids like doing drugs and then immediately getting like massacred by like paramilitary groups, I would never have done drugs. I can tell you that.
I was gonna go really
give it
dark
something.
joke, but
Yeah.
I was gonna let that one lie.
Well,
It's the best jokes.
I think my reference there was just dark enough we could get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah, with shooting down kids for doing
Yeah,
drugs.
shooting down kids,
See, mine would have been a modern
It's
citation, which is why I selected not to speak on the matter.
it's like I don't know, this but obviously it would be like overuse of fake blood and everything. Like there'd be like way more blood than you would ever get if you were getting
Oh,
shot.
yeah.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino
Splurting
levels
out.
of blood, obviously.
Yeah. Like you get shot and then blood comes right out your mouth. Yeah, whole thing. But so yeah, she's running like scared shitless, and she really doesn't stop throughout like the rest of that. The rest of the playing out scenes, really.
Pretty much, yeah. She just runs off the cliff at one point.
The only thing I have to note is she fires a flare off.
Yeah.
She
At
does.
some point.
She gets a flare off. Yeah, she does. She does the one good thing.
And that allows
General... Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that just allows the rebels to start sound the alarm pretty
gearing
much.
up. Yeah. I will say I really, just because of how much gore there was already, I really wanted her to like break a leg or like twist an ankle or something when she fell off there. That would have been
Something definitely should have happened.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
She's a parkour master.
not-
She even did
I'm
the
not-
combat role.
And listen, I'm not saying I wanted her to get injured. I'm just saying I wanted the character to get injured. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, and while we get the rebels prepping for battle, we see that they have a lot of modern day guns.
Like AK-47s mainly, a lot of that.
Yeah, which just blew my mind pretty much because that's 500 years in the future.
That's a little low.
That's
Listen, the
primitive. That's primitive
AK-47
weaponry.
AK-47 is the standard, okay?
Today,
Rebels.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's us using slings and bows in war.
Yeah.
That's the equivalency here.
I mean, yeah.
They're using museum pieces for fighting here.
Well, they're not like 500 years old.
The guns are.
Point. No, but the guns,
Unless they
the
continue to
guns
make the
are
same
not-
model.
yeah, that's what I was saying. The guns themselves just look like AK-47s, but we don't know if they're 500 years old or not. They could be like standard issue.
They could be 400 years old.
Yeah, I think I put in my notes with a fucking like glaring emoji. AK-47 survives into the 25th century. Just because.
Why not? Why not the M16? Come on, everybody.
I mean, whatever.
I mean, the M16's better, but
Guns.
guns with boats.
We get Quan running up to the base, running to her dad's, saying it wasn't the UNSC.
How many
When he
UNSC?
asked how many there were.
Yeah.
It's not the UNSC.
It's not. They killed Esso and Kara or whatever.
Don't worry, I didn't like those kids anyways. They were a bad influence.
It's true. Go to the vault and save people. That's your job. And
And
okay, fine.
the fucking vault looks worse than the gate that they're using to close up.
I can't believe it was the
frickin-
vault. I actually thought it was a shipping container my first
Yes!
watch through.
Yeah, go to the shed.
Yeah. What the
They're-
hell?
How do they not have bunkers? This is a rebel base, is it not?
That was their bunker.
Yeah, their exterior bunker. Dumb.
It's you know what? Like, okay, at this moment, it just blew away anything that these were like a formidable fighting force, though. Like, I was immediately like, okay, how did these guys beat any like?
Yeah. There's a lot of problems.
I mean, I don't know how they're even really a threat to the UNSC. They could just drop a bomb on them or send one Spartan at this point.
Yeah. The people on the walls weren't shooting at anything Everyone's out in the open. There's not a lot of cover where everyone's geared up by the gate, so they're just like people could just walk in essentially. They're aiming at the gate, which is something, but they're all standing out in the open like it's World War One, and just they're gonna slowly walk to trenches to get mowed down by machine guns. It was quite infuriating.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they only guarded one entry point when they could have come in from any direction, really. They could just fly in and drop troops if it was the UNSC. They didn't have to funnel through a door. I don't know. Not very well defended, which also brings up the point of, does this place not have sensors or anything to even register that Phantom entered the area? They have to have some sort of radar, right?
They're rebels.
I'm assuming they don't have a radar at all because that just makes it
based
worse.
on what we saw, they don't.
Yeah.
But should they? I think.
I
should.
mean,
Especially if they're at war with the UNSC.
Springs, do you have anything to add for the scene?
You three have covered pretty much it all.
Okay, I think you should start taking the lead then before we steal all the stuff then.
Yeah, what happens next?
Well, a connection, I guess I'll say that I think was good was earlier on they were talking about how the Spartans were these merciless, like, just murder machines that, as you said, like there were 100 Marines worth of strength, and then just real scary. And then when the elites show up, it's essentially what they called the Spartans are what these elites are. So I think that was a nice parallel.
Yeah, I guess so. 20 elites versus 150 civies. They call them civies, but they're rebels. They got some combat experience.
I mean, as far as this fight is concerned, they're civies.
Yeah. Didn't stand a chance. So yeah, Quan goes to the vault with Malchin, which is the name of that boy, which I didn't catch the first two times.
Yeah, I mean, he's.
I
Really
didn't catch it. I didn't
story.
catch it at the second time when I watched it. So.
Yeah, and freaking the elites blow up the door, and the people up top that were shooting at them, and the generals was like, "What the hell is that?
What in Sam hell is going on here?"
They start firing the turrets and all their guns, and it's just bouncing off elite shields. So.
Yes,
Yeah, guns
the
don't
impenetrable
work.
elite shield.
Guns do not work. Remember that.
Yeah.
Remember that for later. It's important. Guns do not affect elites.
It's important to note that just like they're using the turrets and the shields are just tanking it because the shields are just that good on the Covenant.
Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
We get Quan peeking through the window, seeing everyone get massacred. Not a fair fight at all.
Yeah.
No.
And then
They're just getting mowed.
she has the idea that she should help.
Well,
They're
she
like,
gets that
"No."
idea once she sees her dad's truck flip.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
that's
like-
true.
Still though.
Also,
Yeah,
impressive.
Yeah. I wonder how much she helped during this. I guess we'll find out.
I
when
think she actually
we
made
get
it
through
worse.
this whole scene.
On the truck getting knocked over, that elite just ran into that truck and that knocked that truck asunder. I have a very different memory of hitting elites with warthogs and stuff like that.
Well,
So
He activated the armor lock.
oh,
I'm not sure if you noticed. The elites have armor lock in this, so that's canon now.
I can't tell if you're fucking with me. Did he activate armor lock?
No,
You can't tell you're messing with
no,
me.
he just charged and shoulder bashed the truck.
Okay, all right. And I mean, that's what I
Trying to
thought.
fix the riders here,
Yeah,
but they didn't do that.
yeah, okay. It's because I wasn't sure. I'm like, there was a lot of stupid, and I'm sure I've missed some. So I was like, really? Is that what
Oh,
happened?
I mean, yeah.
Just shoulder bashes it, and Quan wants to leave, and Malchin's like, "Are we going to die?" And she's like, "No, of course not." And then she leaves them to die while leaving the hatch open.
Yeah, she goes out the hatch, and we run back to Guy, who's super proud. He fought Marines.
Yeah, he's having a hell of a time.
He's having a wonderful time. He's proven himself. He's having a good old time, and he's I think he's realizing his gun's not doing anything.
Yeah, he sees his buddy next to him get shot.
Yeah, but I will say this for Marine guy, he's actually utilizing cover, so good for him.
Yeah, he's blind firing for sure.
Yeah.
And Sprinks, what does he do?
I don't. I feel like a scene's been skipped or something's been talked over. Is Marine guy that younger kid? Or are you
Yeah.
talking about the old man?
No, Marine
The
guy's the
kid.
younger kid.
Okay. I
The
got
old
confused.
guy, his name's Professor.
So I don't know that.
Yeah.
So Marine guy, gets. He's like fighting and happy about it, and like in the midst of war, and then in a split second turns to cowardice, and runs to the quote unquote vault, to get himself inside, where an elite
Just follows
uses
him.
just walks up behind him, doesn't chase him, just walks up behind him, takes an energy sword and just rams him through, melting part of the door. And then the General Kwan's watching all this from his foot being trapped under the
No.
vehicle, and the elite pulls open the vault doors, which is just simple. Even with that bar in place, it didn't look like it snapped or anything. It's like the bar wasn't even there.
I assume this. I'm the only reason I'm assuming he was able to do this is just because the energy sword melted it.
Yeah. That's what I.
Well,
From what I'm seeing with the elites, I just believe him ripping it open regardless.
Fair enough. Yeah.
and then the elite sees all the unarmed children and women essentially,
was like,
and
free
mows them
target.
all down.
Yeah.
yeah.
Malchin, no!
Good job on that Marine guy. Led the elite all the way there.
Oh yeah.
Let me in!
Listen, I'm just saying he got to Kilimanjaro. All right.
Kilimanjaro. Killtacular. Yeah, very done with him. I'm glad he died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we set that up though.
Yeah, we saw Quan run around, avoiding getting shot and stuff, and comes across the professor, and this is when he says, I thought it was propaganda, and that's when you're like, oh my god, these writers suck.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I said verbatim. I'm like, well, I guess the Human Covenant War is going very well then, because I mean, unless human colonies are getting wiped the fuck out constantly, like they were in the original show, I mean, we must be doing pretty fucking well. So I'm like, all right, propaganda, it's good, go humans, right?
It's not like later in this episode when Miranda's talking to Quan, she's like, a lot of planets have been destroyed from these guys. It's not like that happens.
And it's not like Admiral Parangosky says a line of, we haven't figured out how to beat them yet. It's not like that's
We've been fighting them for years.
It's not like we have, other references to point at in this show that these writers fucking have no idea what they're doing. Okay.
Terrible.
All right. So, thought it was all propaganda.
Yes, all propaganda.
They got killed by propaganda.
And then we get a UNSC ship entering the area.
I love the scene coming up.
Well, then you can go ahead and say it.
You want me to?
Yeah.
So we get a UNSC ship coming in, and a bunch of frickin' Spartans just drop down. It's Master Chief. Spoiler.
Superhero landing.
One of them's Master Chief, and then three. I don't know. They don't say the names, but 3 other Spartans.
It's on their HUD display.
Yeah.
I only know the name of one, and it's Kai, the sniper.
Yeah.
Kai's the sniper.
There's a dual wielder.
Riz is the other woman. And, and Vanek is the other guy.
Yeah. And they just, begin kicking ass. And in fact, Master Chief kills the, he's going for the Covenant guy who just killed all the innocent vault dwellers,
Mm-hmm.
and for whatever reason, Jin just starts. I have to shoot that guy and starts firing on him, and until Master Chief kills him, and then he gives him a nod of like, "Thank you," and then they
God.
proceed to be like, he's like, "Oh, you are
The-
saving me."
The only reason that this is that him, I mean, obviously he's not. He should be more worried about the elite than the Spartan. But the only reason that this has some credence is for a scene later in the show when Quan talks about their history, their personal history with the Spartans.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
then,
Have
it's
one
not
more
really
thing.
enough.
Yeah, go on.
In this current situation, Jin thinks Quan is dead. He thought she was still in that vault.
Yeah.
So that elite killed his daughter.
Oh yeah, the elite should still be priority. I'm like saying the only reason that there is something to work with in this scene and why he'd be angry at the Spartans is that, but it's still not enough to justify his anger here. He has priorities, and it's not the chief.
But and then also suddenly now guns work on the elites.
Yeah, it's because they're the guns from the games. That's why they work.
Well, because his guns aren't.
Oh,
500
don't
years
worry.
old.
There's another part coming up where that this is just proven immediately.
Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
there's a note that I wrote down that I
Mm.
thought I don't know if it's purposeful or not, but while Chief is running at the elite and Quan's like raising his gun to shoot Chief, it shows Chief running and there's particle spark effects from I guess small explosions or bullet shots that are making particles of yellow, pink, and purple behind Chief, and to me that just reminded me of Birthday Party shooting
Grunt birthday
grunts.
party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me in the background of him. I don't know if it was purposeful, but
I didn't notice that.
I-
Now I need to watch it a fourth time.
Yeah, actually, I do have
No,
one. I do
not.
have one minor complaint here, and then this is absolutely irrelevant to everything. But I found an
Okay,
elite
go on.
dual wielding an energy sword and a plasma rifle, and you can't do that. Just saying, this is game logic.
I've played the games. You can't do that. Bad.
Well, in was it Halo 4 or 5? You got the elites that had the I guess
Oh, you mean the
wrist
two games? That have,
daggers or whatever.
you mean the two games that have been disowned by every gamer who played them, other than you? Okay, good
No.
argument there.
I guess
I'm kidding.
another thing to show how much of a Halo fan I am. I played Spartan Ops. I beat Spartan Ops in Halo 4.
Shit, I haven't
Um,
even played. Oh wait, no, Spartan Ops. Never mind, I did that. It's Spartan Assault
Yeah.
is the one I haven't played. The mobile
Yeah.
game with Sarah
Spartan Assault
Palmer.
and Spartan Strike, whatever it says. Those suck.
Those suck.
They suck. And during the whole kerfuffle, we
Yeah, the
see an
kerfuffle. That's
elite
a good word,
looking at Chief and said, "Demon." Like,
It's
So-
the one at the shipping container, right?
Hmm?
Is it the one that called him demon at the shipping container? Like that's the one just massacred
I
all
don't
the
think
people in
so.
there.
Yeah.
I think this was
Yeah.
after that guy was killed.
Oh, okay,
Right?
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. The demon.
Yeah. So, I know they've been fighting for years, but Chief earned, at least in the games, that title because he wrecked their shit.
Politely, to put it politely.
Yeah.
So I really want to know what he's done to earn the title Demon in this timeline.
He had
Something
sex with
tells
their
me we'll
mother.
never know because they haven't come across the Halo yet, at least as of episode 1. So I don't know what he did to earn that.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, obviously he blew up a Forerunner artifact, which the Covenant worship. That's why they call him Demon. But
Let's just say at least they didn't call him Baba Yaga. All right.
That's true.
that is, yeah.
I'd roll my eyes. And we get cool-ish POV shot. Kind of feels like a fan film. when it
I said
happens.
that. Yeah, I was like, man,
the
this is
the
feeling like a
first
fan
person
film.
helmet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
did
a
think it was
nice
right though.
It's nice,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Hardcore Henry. It felt a little bit
Yeah.
like that, in that vein with a
Not
little...
as cool though.
Not as cool. It was a nice... I'll put it in this quotes. It was a nice nod to the games. I don't
Yeah.
think it was particularly well done, though.
I like that they at least got like the HUD display kind of correct. I mean, like where stuff was.
Yeah, mostly. I can agree with that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, on my third watch, I paused every time it popped up, and in this whole battle scene, it's pretty accurate. I'll say later down the line when it isn't, but
yeah.
during this, it actually keeps track of bullets and grenades, and the radar is accurate of where allies and enemies are. Hint, hint for later. And we get Chief versus 2 elites, which they proudly showed in the trailers. Which no, they did. And I, for one, thought that looked ugly, but I don't know what you guys thought.
Oh, it was horrible.
It's a similar thing with like what you were talking about in like Doctor Strange, where like the CGI looks good until it like messes with like it like comes in contact with other stuff, and then it looks bad because they don't have like the like the momentum or like the correct. It's all kind of off.
Mm-hmm.
But like when they were, because like when they were by themselves, like the Covenant, when they're like by themselves and they're not like interacting with something, they look pretty good. But then as soon as like they're interacting,
like they're hitting things, and
it looks kind of weird.
Sprinks.
It looked fine to me.
All right.
Oh, DMR is automatic now, by the way.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah,
a
it
DMR though?
That,
We had to have a whole conversation about that.
there were moments where I couldn't tell if it was a DMR or a battle rifle. Sprinks thought it could be the Commando from Halo Infinite.
It could be the Commando, because Commando and DMR look pretty similar. So if it's a Commando, I'm more okay with it.
Well, yeah, but Grimson pointed something out later that asserted what it is.
Yeah.
But
a later HUD mistake, I suppose.
If it is a mistake, either the gun's a mistake or the HUD's a mistake. It's one of the two.
But I thought the writers played the
Something
games.
I'd like to add in that's right after this fight scene, which I think is the funniest scene to me in this whole episode, is the professor sees this as like a rally cry that the Spartans are on their side.
Let's fight!
And he gets up like, yeah, and the guy next to him is like inspired. He's like, yeah, and they get up to go charge into battle, and the guy next to him immediately gets shot and killed.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Quite amusing.
Hilarious. Somebody died. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very comedically timed.
The writers know exactly what they're doing.
Yes, I'm sure that was meant to be funny. I don't think it was, though. And we get, what was his name? Vanek. 1v1ing a Spartan with a flagpole instead of using his DMR commando.
Oh, you mean he's one of wanting elites with the flagpole? I think there was 2. Yeah, I thought.
Either way, fought with a flagpole instead of guns. So I didn't like that. It didn't add up to me. I did not like it.
Yeah, like if your gun's not out of ammo, it's not overheating. That's clearly the best weapon to go with.
Yeah, they went for the rule of cool, and I don't think it was cool enough to excuse its existence. Because it just punctures the whole body, and he lifts it into the air. I know Spartans are strong, but that just visually looked weird, because these elites are pretty bulky looking. They're not like the elegant ones from the original trilogy.
Yeah, they're closer to like the Halo Wars elites, where they're very, very buff and overbearing.
Oof.
Yeah. So, looked weird. Didn't make sense. Didn't like it.
Looked weird. Didn't make sense. Didn't like it.
Yep.
Yes.
Sums it all up.
5-word review.
And we get Riz running up to 2 and doing a cool leg sweep, and then shoots him in the head.
A killer leg sweep, dude.
Killer. I thought that looked pretty cool, even though we've established that the speed they kill these guys doesn't make sense with what we saw earlier with the bullets not doing anything.
Yeah.
And there's a point where she picks up a plasma pistol from one of them and kills the second one with it, and you can see that it's a unpainted prop, which is insane.
The plasma pistol?
Yeah, I wish I had a picture to show.
I do have a picture to show, so I'll bring that one up.
Sweet.
Sweet, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's freaking cool.
It does look very. I guess the plasma pistol does look very gray. It's not a. It's the execution shot that I brought up. So it's not the it's not the close up.
It's the one where she throws it on the ground. So
okay.
It's just one little snippet where it's an unpainted prop.
That's painful.
Yeah, I don't know how it got by.
Well, I do, but
because the prop department is probably the best department in this show, right?
Yeah.
I think we all agree that the armor.
I think aesthetically, the prop department, everything looks like Halo.
Yeah, so it was weird that got by. I don't know if that counts as prop department or CG department. I don't know if the props made physical stuff and then CG goes over. I don't know how that works.
Well, they probably might, just because since they're blasting and it's going to be CG, they might just be like, okay, well, just like make the whole thing CG because you're going to have to do it anyways. I don't know.
My limited knowledge of CG, I know if you have something emitting light, it's easier to make the whole object CG so that the light makes sense instead of having to guess what the light's going to act like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that they probably do
put
CG pistols
over
real
pistols. See, that's also, though, like, it's kind of like also, though, it's harder for them, or you would imagine it'd be harder for them to mess it up because there's an actual version of it that's CG, which is the game that's computer generated, so you know what it's going to look like when it's firing, or what it's supposed to anyway. I mean, granted, I know for like the scenario it would change, but still, like, you know what it's supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Quan running around, and she's running up a hill, and then an elite pops up in front of her and just roars.
Yeah,
to run away.
Does the whole, instead of just mowing her down like the person that was in front of her, the elite just does the wart and like screech that happens in the games. I'm like,
I would have loved it if he did the wart, but he does like
he does the whole like I don't know if you remember in Halo 1, like if you bash if you melee an elite, their shields go off. That's pretty much the movement he does. Like they look up into the sky and scream. And
but his shield did not break.
His shield did not break, and also, while it was a cool nod at the end that made me smirk, the plot armor is thick for Quan here.
Yeah, crazy thick. Because he was the only one that made it.
Crazy thick.
Yeah,
thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
That elite chases her into this, I guess, little RV thing. I don't know what that is. Some little shack.
I'm gonna call it an RV. I'm gonna call it an RV.
It was like a home. It was like a home unit, but yeah, it was like a
mobile home.
Yeah,
it was small.
Trailer. Yeah.
And the elite just does a little pathetic jump scare at the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that elite proceeds to rip open the fucking door.
And he can't get his arm in.
He doesn't try to shoot her. He doesn't try to get his gun in. He just tries to reach for her. Kai takes his head off.
Yeah, with the sniper, so I guess that breaks shields. Then that makes sense.
Yeah.
The first thing that makes sense with these guns.
The first thing.
The very first thing, yes. And Quan crawls out this little doggy door, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the panels and like doorways in this don't really make a lot of sense, but you know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was covered up on a wall, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And she finds the professor dead, leaning against a vehicle.
Oh man!
Shot through the head.
Yeah.
She's to blame.
And so are the writers.
To rally him up. And she just hides under the vehicle he died at. Sprint, do you want to talk about this next scene with the chief?
It's
the bus one, if that rings bells.
Okay. So yeah, Chief sees that his sniper is under fire by 3 or 4 elites, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. In cover,
3?
yeah.
And so he starts charging and takes a jump. And the jump itself at the beginning is fine, but then he lands on top of a bus, which overall looks bad, but it seems like he has like gravity boots or magnetic boots or something to attach him to the top of the bus, because it looks like he stopped short. And
Yeah,
it,
the
like,
momentum
sucks
feels
him
off, doesn't it?
downward.
Yeah.
Like the initial jump is fine, but it's when he gets to the bus where it just like sucks him down.
It sucks. Well, like they're designed for like space. Well, we're saying they're designed for space right now, but that'll also change later on. But like the armor is supposed to be like, I think there is like supposed to be like magnetic or something, right? In the boots. It's not applied. I'm not saying it fits in this thing. I'm just saying I think that is an actual.
Yeah, I think they have mag boots for like
Yeah.
zero gravity. But the thing is, when he lands, he's stiff. He doesn't
Yeah.
react to landing, which I think
Yeah.
is why it looks so bad.
So bad.
Yeah. Like the momentum felt a little off. I think my only comment on that description is actually right before when Kai is getting pinned down. We see the plasma burn off chunks of concrete around her, but just the chunk of concrete that she's behind just happens to stay intact.
Plot armor.
Plot armor.
That one shot was a charged plasma pistol shot, so he's taking a while for the second one.
Oh, look at
okay.
you! Look at you finding all the little stuff in there.
I'm trying here. The writers didn't give me much. Gosh. Do you want to go further with that, Springs? Or no, I'm gonna
Chief starts taking fire, and he goes on until his shield starts dropping, where the game audio of the shield actually kicks in, which I think was nice.
Which is a nice Easter egg. Yeah, I like that.
I like how they hit an Easter egg in there for the thing that it's based on.
Yeah, at this point it's an Easter egg because everything else is not remotely close.
Yeah.
Only aesthetics.
So then Chief gets the attention of the elites, and they're after him now, which is a bit odd because the sniper was really at a huge disadvantage, but they just turn around and put their backs to the sniper.
I mean, Master Chief is the real target here.
Yes,
He's
the
the demon.
green, the evergreen color of his outfit stands out far more than the navy dark, the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
they
got
look like
he's got like the army marine gray or green, and everyone else has got like the navy blue kind of look to them.
The baby blue.
And then
Yeah.
he's gets his shields charged up, and he's behind the truck now. Which, if it's the same truck as before, it's now in a completely different position.
Mm.
We know there are two. We know where one ended
Okay,
up.
so
I'm okay
I
if this
guess
is where the
this is the
second one ended
second
up.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he drops his assault rifle, and I guess I'll go to Sinister since you brought up earlier that this defeats
Yeah.
something that you brought up.
Yeah. So he drops his gun and picks up the Gatling gun, which Jen was using earlier when the attack first started, and it had no effect on the elites. But suddenly, once Master Chief picks up, he just mows all of them down instantly. Pretty much.
Elite shields make you invincible unless you're a main character, I guess.
Yeah. And listen, I was fine if like, okay, yeah, they probably have a different like, ammo or something, like they've never had to deal with overshields before, I'm assuming. It's, they don't like give us much. But like, come on, like you can't do that. You can't like have a gun that didn't work before suddenly work with, it's like either have it not work or don't have it at all. Like that's my gripe.
Yeah, and a little bit of detail that I saw was he chucked his assault rifle, which looked horrible.
Oh yeah, that looked
on the ground.
bad. I think that was a post edit, 100%.
Oh, it definitely was. That was not a real gun. And on his HUD, it showed no bullets, so that's why he switched to the minigun because he ran out, not just because he wanted to use the minigun.
No, yeah, give it a little bit of story credit.
Yeah, I'll give the HUD people some credit for now.
Trying to
They know
fix the damage that's already been done.
Yeah. He kills the 3 elites with the minigun. And we cut to Jin looking for Quan in the vault. And
Yeah.
sad because
Yeah.
he doesn't see any survivors.
My daughter.
My
Massacred
daughter
my
is
beautiful
supposed
daughter.
A good thing I ignored her killer to attack a Spartan.
Yeah, I do. I think this is. I do like who the guy who's playing Quan's dad.
Yeah,
I think he's a fairly good actor because he's able to
Yeah.
go through the range of emotions here really quickly in the next
yeah.
in these next pretty much 5 seconds from
it's
like
sad that,
distraught. From just like the pure distraught of what happened, and then
it's sad that
the realization.
Yeah. It's sad that the fate that's about to come happened to him and not the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he turns and sees Quan under the vehicle that the professor died at.
And they're happy.
And he's all
yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my daughter's the sole survivor. What are the odds?
Yeah.
And an elite limping over, obviously wounded.
Why he's not
Uh,
dead, we don't know.
I don't know. So it's limping towards Quan, and Jin's like, no! And starts running at the elite, shooting
And gunning.
him.
Running
Yes.
and gunning.
Running and gunning right up to him. The elite's blocking with his arm because his shields are down.
Yeah, and the bullets are still doing nothing, by the way. It's just,
Still
Yeah.
doing nothing.
and there's no shields, so
And he's got a flesh arm there. It was not completely armored. So, makes no sense there either.
Yeah.
And Jin's just like, all right, just kill me, pretty much. And he does.
Yeah.
I mean,
just scar my daughter, please.
he
And
just pretty much he pretty much
obliged.
he pretty much slow walked up to this elite, just
Yeah.
shooting, and the elite just looked at him like he was an annoyance.
Which he is. I mean, in this situation, he's not a threat at all.
Yeah. And this is something I'll point out to. Why didn't the Spartans see this guy? Because they have a radar.
Yeah, they,
And
not
shells
only
just
that,
see
they should be
enemies.
not only that, they should be able to hear the gunfire from Jin. General Jin over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
General Jin, yeah. It's
They should that's what pissed me off the most. Like, 'cause even if the elite's not on radar, because he's not moving very fast, and the Spartans' movement is based on sight. And they should have heard the gunfire, which I found to be more egregious than I guess the HUD thing. It's still bad.
Yeah, and then Chief turns corner, runs, guns, kills. Mission complete.
Yep.
and
No civilian survivors.
no civilian survivors.
And Quan's like, hey, I'm alive. He's like, strike that. One survivor. And
And
walks
they
away.
leave. Yeah.
And then
He's like,
walks the fuck away.
You're just gonna leave?
And I think at that point I realized, okay, this isn't Chief's not even the same character.
No, not at all. None of the Spartans really cared about her at all. They just leave.
They're really hyping up the whole just, military-industrial complex thing here.
Yeah, the baddies. The Spartans go to look for the Phantom that delivered the elites.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they find?
They found a Phantom in a cave.
They found a fandom.
Yeah, they found a fandom that was mad at this show.
Well, the cave is not a
Yeah,
natural
oh,
formation.
Close that door.
So Chief tells my notes again. What's his name? Vanek and
Riz?
to
Riz.
clear the Phantom
Riz.
while him and Kai investigate the cave.
Which is
And
a
we
excavation
Which goes
site.
really well. They have a picnic in there and everything.
I know they had it all set up. And we see Quan walking through the desert.
Just
for
like
a second.
with
Yeah.
blood still all over her face.
She doesn't have time to clean up blood. That was her friend Faz's blood.
I'm okay with her, the blood on her face. It's
Oh, don't worry. I'm fine with it for this part. It's when it keeps going that I have an issue with it.
fair enough.
Oh shoot! Skip something.
You skip? Oh my god!
We skipped the intro. What's everyone's thoughts on the intro?
I loved it. It was the best thing ever. I died. I loved it.
It started out like the first 2 seconds were great because you got the whole the orchestral like
Yeah.
monks singing as you always do with Halo.
Plus.
Yeah, and then it just went downhill right after that. The
And
first
then-
2 seconds were great.
then
After
we-
that, it was pretty shit.
I thought it was good, and I stand that should be the only skin you ever see of Master Chief.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not gonna agree with that.
Just in that intro where he's armoring up.
Yeah, I think
I'm
I
sure
think
we'll only see that, right?
I think I
Yeah.
like the some parts have been spoiled for me. I think I do like the last shot with like Chief standing in front of like the arc reactor light behind him.
My gripe with
This
it was I was
wallpaper,
like,
I'm looking- sure.
my gripe with it was I was confused, like, because it made me think, wait, so is his armor like nanobots or something? Like, I didn't really understand the visuals, I guess. I mean, I liked it, but I was like, the visuals here don't really make a lot of sense.
I think you put more thought into it than they did.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is a problem.
yeah. The visuals don't make sense. I agree with that.
I'm fine with it because I was like, oh, it looks cool, but at the back of my head, I was like, why is his like armor coming on in like sand or something?
I
I'm
think
trying to say he's not a person.
yeah, it's funny. I scanned my notes really quickly, and I'm like, for when fucking goddamn it, Jin is running towards walking towards the elite is shooting him. I wrote down those Nerf bullets are doing nothing, by the way, because apparently all the rebels have Nerf guns.
Yeah, that was
should've
their
picked
sponsor
up-
actually.
That assault rifle chief threw and just put ammo in it.
Yep.
Unfortunate.
They didn't have the right gauge.
It's true. He didn't have any megs for the assault rifle. Yeah, intro. I just said I didn't like the music.
Yeah.
All right. Then we go to the cave with Chief and Kai.
The excavation site.
Yes, the excavation site,
The cave is
Where
does
we-
not appear to be a natural formation.
which is what Kai
did we
says.
reference that? What?
I think we referenced that in the beginning. It's a nod to the first game of how smart Cortana was in that one moment there. Very
Iconic.
amusing. It is iconic.
It is iconic. When I did smirk at the line a little bit, like you almost had me there, show almost.
So close. Oh.
We also get a POV shot of the HUD, and I almost laughed out loud on my third watch through because I didn't see this the first two times. Because on the second one I thought, why doesn't the elite in that cave get shown on their sensors? And on the radar, it says error system malfunction. So I think that's totally the VFX team fixing the writer's screw up.
Well,
them
and
not knowing
here's
why
the
the elite
thing:
was
they
there.
wouldn't even have to, because if the elite just stood there, the HUD is a motion tracker. So if the elite's just standing in place, so they wouldn't see it on there anyway. It's just
But walking to that cave made an error.
yeah,
of
apparently.
System malfunction.
So I think that's actually a sin on the VFX part.
Ooh.
Either way, there's a screw up here.
either way, the VFX part was screwed up or the writers screwed up. And you know what?
Which is a greater sin is the real question.
And I don't know why the elites left the artifact there to get picked up in the first place.
Because it's funny.
Because
their mission was clearly to excavate and take it.
yeah,
They weren't here to kill the people. That was just a byproduct of Quan stumbling across them.
Yeah. the MacGuffin McMuffin just needs to be in the hands of the main character.
There you go.
So that made no sense to me. And if only Chief could grab it, and we later find out Maquis, whatever her name was, could also interact with it. Why wasn't she with them to take it? I don't make any sense.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Makes me so mad.
Yeah, Chief grabs it and it starts glowing, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, look at this beautiful Forerunner blue! Awesome, I love it."
Forerunner Blue.
And he gets a flashback of presumably his childhood, which we find out later it was.
Yeah.
He had a childhood.
He did. He wasn't even aware of it.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I know the backstory.
Halsey locked it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. You lock away a memory, but I'm not a scientist.
Future tech, 500-year-old technology.
Yeah. Do you have anything on this cave stuff, Springs?
No, not really. They excavate. Well, don't know how long they've been there digging it out, but it looked fairly
Well mined.
cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well cut.
Yes. All right. The elite sees Chief interacting with it, and his eyes get wide, like, "Oh my god!"
His
What's
eyes
happening?
that you can't see. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can see his eyes widen.
You can feel them.
And if this were the Halo games, that elite would be executed upon delivering his message. Just saying.
True. Yeah. You did
Well,
nothing
he could
to
have been.
stop
We don't
him.
know that. We never see that guy again.
Yeah, that's true.
He
Could be the arbiter for all we know in like 20 seasons.
Ugh. Ugh.
Ugh.
Can't wait for them to
Don't do
ruin
that.
that character.
Yeah, so he runs away, activates Cloak, and knocks over Quan instead of just killing her.
Yeah.
Shoulder checks her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
Chief
man's
and
running
Quan
for his life.
chase him down.
The elite's running for his life. I kind of get that a little bit. All his friends just got massacred by these 4 people.
He doesn't know that. He's been in the escape the whole time.
I'm pretty
Being a little scientist of
I'm
him.
pretty sure he could have heard them on the comms.
Yeah. You're like, oh boy.
What? What?
Blarg, honk. Honk, blarg.
Yeah, Quan gets knocked out. The elite takes a banshee.
And then
That just happened to be there.
Yeah, it is the fastest banshee I've ever seen. I'm a little jealous, but that's fine.
and activated its jump drive. I don't know. Why would they have a banshee when they got a phantom?
I mean,
I felt like it shouldn't have been there.
I'm fine with the banshee being there. It's like it's more for me, and that goes into more military doctrinal stuff. Like, if you're sending in the choppers, you're going to send in close fighter support to escort the choppers. And like the Phantom is the equivalent of their dropship, pretty much, and that's what it is. You would send in fighters to escort
stealthy, right? So you'd want less potential.
Well, Banshees
stuff
is supposed to be stealthy as well, but I'm pretty sure that's not really addressed much, at least in the games.
Oh, just something I thought. Didn't know if it had precedence or not.
Yeah.
Chief sends the rest of his team, Silver Team, to intercept that guy, which we find out later they don't.
Oh no! I thought he sent them home. Like they were just gonna go home to Reach first, like ahead of him.
I thought he told him to chase him.
Chase me.
One of us is right.
Well, I think okay. No, I think I know why you said that, because he does tell his teammates that they need to cut him off because he's heading for the door. They just don't get there in time.
Classic.
By the way, his team leaves without Chief, which Kai's like, that's against protocol.
And like they notice that he's acting a little odd.
Well, yeah, Kai got him to stop touching the artifact.
I thought you were gonna say he got him to stop touching himself.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. I don't know why.
Who knows?
Yeah.
They don't get much love on Planet Reach. Then we go to Reach. Well, actually, we see Chief looking at Quan, who's unconscious and slightly injured, and then we go to Reach.
Yeah.
The UNSC headquarters.
Fleet Comm. Yep. I gotta say, Reach is looking pretty great since I last saw it in a game.
Well, I agree.
I agree.
Sinister Spinks and I watched this together yesterday, and Spinks was curious at the timeline of this compared to the games. And up to this point, we were thinking around the second game, right, Spinks?
I think that's what you brought up.
I'm gonna tell you right now. There's
Yeah, we're
still
thinking-
because Madrigal was a thing and it's colonized. It's like 15 years before Halo 2.
Oh, I know. And once Reach popped, I'm like, well, it's before the first game.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Doesn't
because
really have any
yeah.
connection.
The only reason I'm saying that is because I mean, obviously the war is going really well for humans because we're still here and we're also still the outer colonies some fucking how.
We're still here and people don't know about it.
Yeah,
Still.
I know. So it was definitely very early years. I'm guessing, let's see, Harvest, which is what set off the Covenant War in the original story, was around 2531. I'm guessing this is late 2530s at the most.
Shoot, they said a year at some point, but I didn't write it down.
Oh my god, they did?
Yeah, there was a year.
Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. Well, I hope
Something
they're...
to look up later. Well, yeah, all right. And we see Halsey going over Master Chief's footage of the excavation site and the artifact.
With what I can only describe as absolute jubilant excitement.
Pretty good descriptor there.
It's a good description, yeah.
And on the right of what she's seeing, there's, I guess, a little hologram, a little diagram, diagram of Chief and his heart rate and all that stuff, medical stuff.
Yeah.
And I like the detail that his heart rate went up when he touched it. So good on the
VFX
I'm going
team.
to assume that's HUD team.
Yeah.
The
Good job,
display
HUD team.
And we get Admiral Parangoski entering. And Halsey hides the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hides the video.
And I thought that was odd. I'm like, okay, this is an admiral. She's just off duty. And so that's why she's not in her uniform. And I thought that was fine.
Yeah,
I
of
just-
her appearance.
I'm only commenting this here now as a setup for later.
As she was talking to Halsey about how the Spartans failed on Madrigal. And Halsey's like, well, we did save one and they're on their way. And she's like, well, I can't sell that.
And I'm like, wow, the war must be going really well if we're still worried about budgetary
I know.
constraints.
Halsey, they're trying to find ways to cut funding. So very fun stuff there. Because it's boring.
Boring.
We find out that the UNSC has been fighting for years and don't know why the Covenant are fighting,
And
where
they-
they are,
And they also have no idea
or
how to beat them.
defeat them.
Yeah. Yeah. Security wants to cut funding for the Spartan program, fighting them for years, don't know how to beat them, and that's all within like one scene. The writers fucked themselves in one scene just by contradicting themselves in the same conversation. It's pretty bad.
I know, and they say that at least Master Chief is the super weapon for the UNSC.
Yeah.
So they want to cut the funding of the super weapons that are actually killing things that they claim they don't know how to kill.
I actually thought Master Chief was the propaganda piece. Like that's a thing that's in Halo 2, but that's really, really late in the war. Like because that's when the Spartan program was more
Quan talk on the Condor.
Condor.
where like
The
you
Condor. Ooh.
yeah. Fair enough
Yeah.
then. Yeah. I thought this was set up for that. Like everyone says it snidely that he's humanity's greatest weapon. He just happens to be.
By the way, cutting funding doesn't make much sense towards
No.
the Spartan program at this point. And I think that no, that doesn't wrap it up yet. She's like, what was the higher ups in this called? I didn't write that down. I'll just say higher ups.
Yeah.
Say there should be a friendly face
Yeah.
talking to Quan, and
Yeah.
they went with Miranda Keys
Yeah.
because
Who acted like a freaking high school, like
Yeah.
high school
theater student.
politics. Yeah.
I have no
or
idea.
debate club.
I have no idea why they suggested Miranda. as we'll discuss when we get to that scene. But Miranda,
Yeah, all the they say
on
is
the surface,
she knows Madrigal.
yeah, or like I think she's like in charge of. She's heading up a lot of at least the alien. She's head of the alien division,
Alien
essentially, alien research division, which would make sense. She's more familiar with Madrigal because it's an outer colony, and since that's where the bulk of this war is apparently taking place.
And Halsey wants the artifact because Parangosky said it's under Miranda's jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, John picked it up. It's mine.
Mine.
First touch rule.
Intergalactic space dips.
Yes. Admiral Parangosky is about to leave, but she sees bald, presumably clone of Halsey.
It's
and
Cortana, and I lost my shit. That's why I got so angry. I think it's supposed to be Cortana.
I
Yeah.
hope it's not.
I'm pretty sure it is, unfortunately.
I hope it's early prototype or something. Yeah, wants that project done wants to defund it, get it out of there.
Yeah.
Anything out of this, Prince? We're about to move to High Charity.
No.
Okay, do you want to talk about High Charity?
I can.
Okay.
So High Charity, this big looking turnip ship thing, or mushroom, I guess.
It's Buzz Lightyear's ship?
It would be the original.
No.
This would be the original turnip ship, technically.
No, it's more mushroom with its base stem neural rod looking thing. Anyway, this, man, you really put me to state what's going on here.
Okay, if you don't feel confident, I can do it.
No, you got this another form of alien, part of the Covenant, who's more of a higher up, in his chair, floating
like a pope.
around.
Like a religious person. Doesn't really look like a.
Floating around,
That's
and
being the second game.
Yeah.
and he goes in and he starts talking to someone in a different language, and they're having a conversation, and what he says kind of sparks this person you can't see to stand up and like get more face to face, and it turns around and it's a human girl who's been reading history on the human race that supposedly she can read, which makes sense, but the alien race can't read, so they're having her be an informant to them on how to defeat the enemy of humanity by her being a form of translator to them.
One of these days, I'm gonna have you read one of those books.
Yeah.
My
So that
God.
that way I can understand. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Prophet.
So
Mercy.
yeah, Prophet Mercy. I have no idea why this human knows where the Covenant artifact is. Because she's the one that sent them to Madrigal.
Yes.
And I have no idea why there's a human among the Covenant. I guess it's not a war of extermination, which is fine in 50 sets of quotation marks, because this is a different timeline. So
Yeah, I was like, why isn't she locked up at least? If no, she's one of them. It appears.
Yeah. And I did think I thought the conversation was different than what Springs got, at least over the book. I thought that she was reading the humans book for herself to understand humans, so he was kind of chiding her, like, maybe one day you'll read it to me, because in that kind of way anyway. So I thought it was strange, and Mercy pretty much spells out the reasoning for us, because the writers have no idea how else to tell us their ideas.
It's pretty true, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, writer, but the prophets are supposed to have honor guards guarding them, right?
Yes, actually, they are in the scene for a frame. He left them out in the hall.
they had the weapons, but they did not have the honor guard armor.
Oh yeah, no, they don't have the armor. So VF,
Yeah.
I guess that's costume department let us down a little bit on that one, or the CG.
'Cause the honor guard looked really cool.
Yeah,
Definitely my
Yeah.
favorite type of elite.
they look fucking badass.
They do.
Um,
I also like that they used puppets in parts of this
Yeah,
episode. Yeah.
Apparently, they used puppets for some parts of the Prophet. Which, cool.
I think it does help because I do think the Prophet looks better than most of the elites that we saw in the opening
Yeah.
scene.
I agree.
That's the thing. You can have CGI, but if you have like a practical thing with it, it enhances it.
Yeah. Yeah, best of both worlds. In that, I think this scene kind of shows that.
Yeah, we find out that Maki and Chief both can activate the artifact, which implies that it's a rarity to be able to activate it. So we got that. I guess Chief is special, or humanity as a whole. I guess we don't know at this point.
We shall
I think
find
that
out.
pretty much covers my charity.
Yeah, it's very small.
It's small.
Yes. And then we see Quan waking up on the ship, the Condor.
Like a brig.
Yeah, and just yelling, "Get me out of here! Help me!" Blah blah.
Yeah, then there's Master
I
Chief.
do-
Use
I-
the Chief.
I
the press chief.
I do like that Chief just looks at her, acknowledges her just by staring at her, and then just goes back to
Yeah.
staring.
Yeah, it's very
very-
very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hypnotized by that artifact.
It's like this rock knows me.
I can't believe the scientist called that thing a rock.
Rock.
So stupid. We got.
At least they didn't call it unobtainium.
I guess.
Can't wait for the wave water. Thank you, James Cameron.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks interesting. Without knowing anything.
It's going to be
about
better
the
than
story.
this. That's all I know.
Yeah, there we go.
I will say with confidence.
All right, yeah, we got Miranda popping up. Talks to Quan about how the UNSC respected her father even though they disagreed on things.
Yeah.
And that many planets have been getting wiped out by the Covenant.
But you can change.
But the
all
war's
that.
going well, right? I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we need your help. It would be very helpful if you would go on camera and
Oh,
talk about how the
down.
Spartans destroyed them.
Yeah.
I wrote that one. If you would upload a few words.
Yeah.
Not subtle at all. Yeah.
Pretty.
I know, and her facial expression during this whole thing is just weird.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Sophie
I-
said, like a school student debate club.
Yeah.
it's
Key-
like
I'm
so
like
weird.
the keys, and I'm good. This is kind of one of the few times I'm going to bring up a direct comparison to the games because I am going to compare this keys to Miranda Keys from Halo 2 and 3. Miranda Keys is a figure of authority, and I don't think she projects the figure of authority. She projects on discomfort, like she's out of place, which is. And she's not, and she's I guess she's more into the research division than she is a military strategist. Like she's like a high-ranking officer in the UNSC in the games. And granted, this is years before 2552, I would hope, because fuck me if it's not. I find the waste of potential and just the name of keys to be very degrading here. And this leads into the adaptation problem for me. And I typically don't go into adaptation very often as to point out like bad writing. But I feel like I should point this out only for the sake of like it. She's a much different character in the games, and I think that very different character was much better.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, she's not, at least as far as this episode is concerned, she's not great.
Yeah.
I looked it up, by the way, Ryder. This is going to really irritate you. I found out the year. 2552.
Woo! Fuck this stupid ass show. I don't know. Okay, I guess it depends on what their harvest event is. Like if the harvest event happens like 2 decades after,
It's
like
happening right now.
yeah, if the harvest event happened at 2550, this is more believable. as for propaganda and shit going on. So I guess it really depends on how much that timeline's going, because holy fuck.
Depends.
Yeah.
So Quan's like, my dad just died, and you expect me to help you, the people he disliked.
Yeah.
And
I'm just gonna tell them that the UNSC killed all the people on the planet.
Yeah. And that the Spartans killed everyone in the base. And
We have footage. Yeah, and you have the technology to easily change your footage.
yeah. Okay, so this is dumb. It's about to get dumber.
If that was possible,
Yeah.
it is.
feel free to continue.
So the fact that Keyes doesn't point out the stupidity of this idea is a problem. So obviously, again, degrades her character even more. The timing here on her part is also very poor, because she could have thought about timing, like, she could have given her a couple days before having her do this, but no, she did it instantly. And as I already said, the old Miranda was far braver and smarter character than this shell of a person. But this all culminates in Quan trying to bring her to a negotiating point, because the deal she wants to make is an independent Madrigal, and this is fucking stupid.
With just one person left alive.
Yeah, well,
Madrigal's the planet.
Yeah,
Right
this
after
is
that.
the reason that this is stupid is because if Miranda were an intelligent character, she should happily agree, because an independent and free Madrigal means the UNSC does not have to dedicate resources at all to protect it. And
Well, yeah, but they can charge their own price for the heavy, whatever.
yeah, now you know
Heavy
what?
healing.
I'm fine with. I mean, I'm fine with that. It's just we don't have to dedicate.
You don't have to pay for it though.
We don't have to. We could just let the Covenant come in, wipe them out, and we'll just come pick up the resources when they're done. And that's me. That's me being a really, really cruel strategist. But I mean,
that's what an actual military would do.
Yeah.
What if the Covenant managed to secure the planet and not just wipe them out?
Yeah.
Then you got a whole uphill battle.
That was kind of a weird thing. They never they just kind of drove in and just started murdering everybody. And they
she wants an independent and free Madrigal after seeing what 20 elites did to her whole village. Doesn't make much sense to me.
That was another thing I was gonna point out, where she'd rather lie to the entire, I guess, galaxy or whatever encompasses the UNSC's reach.
Yeah.
The whole galaxy, yeah.
She would lie to the whole galaxy in the hopes that all the outer colonies run from the UNSC. And I'm like, okay.
Into the arms of the aliens slaughtering the UNSC.
Yep. And then you're really thinking this through here, kiddo. Just to say, I know you're traumatized, but
yeah, not smart.
Oh, she's not very smart. Her character's not very smart.
This is and the fact that Keyes points none of this out is also a problem. So this degrades not only her, this degrades her character too. So
she was caught off guard by the intimidation tactic. She wasn't prepared for it.
I think she was caught off guard. I would have been more caught off guard by the stupidity and just in shock at the rest of the conversation.
Either intimidation or the stupidity of that she didn't expect.
Don't worry. She blames Halsey for her failure here. Down later. So
I have my mother in me.
Yeah,
we'll get that.
That pretty much wrapped up that whole bit, and we go to Halsey and her, I guess, assistant. I don't think they ever gave him a name.
No.
Okay, I think I know where I've seen this assistant before, and it was very, very weird, but I'm pretty sure that this assistant was that weird AI that was in Discovery when they first arrived to the future that Captain Giorgio glitched out by blinking too much. I think this is the same actor. They look the same anyway.
Might be right. That's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
But yeah, I don't know her name either.
His name's So they're looking at Chief's hologram, his vitals and all that
His innards.
stuff. Yeah, his prefrontal cortex has been heightened, and his what was the other thing? There were two parts of his brain. I don't remember. What
It was
Really
something. It was like the
doesn't
neural
really matter.
stimulator, whatever.
It started with a P. What's a part of the brain that
P.
starts with a P?
Hypothalamus.
Yeah, it might be hypothalamus, but I mean that's just because it
That's
has a
not
P
really
in
a
it. Yeah.
The Abdullah oblongata.
The penile gland. Oh, that's what it
Penile
was.
gland.
Yeah.
Penile gland.
Penile.
Pineal gland.
Pineal. Pentala. I don't know.
Patella.
No, that's the knee. So they see all the brain stuff. Halsey calls up Chief,
Yeah.
and she's like, "How's your head doing?" Yes.
Hurts.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things." Yeah,
Memories.
Halsey's very intrigued, and her assistant's a little nervous.
Yeah. He starts getting a little concerned by the end.
Yeah, and Halsey says, "Don't touch the artifact anymore." He's like, "Okay." Very depressed, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna touch it some more.
"Yeah, I'll do it later. Save the day, presumably."
I'll do it at night when you're not looking.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Sprinks? I know we've just been going along here.
For that shot, I don't know how many times you needed to see the artifact. They showed the same
Well,
shot
yeah,
4
yeah.
times.
Yep.
Well, they zoomed in the last time they showed it, so it was a little
I
bit
don't think they
different.
zoomed in. I think that was in
They
post.
did.
yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
I
they
think-
zoomed in post.
yeah, but they zoomed in though. They zoomed in
Yeah.
on it.
They really needed to show that it was getting a grasp on Chief's head.
That was
Really,
bothering
yeah.
him,
I like this.
which is fine because which I'm more okay with, just because like
Fine.
in this instance, just because Chief is a very expression. His expressions are very subtle and through body language. You don't really see his face very much, so I'm okay.
Wait, you don't see it in his face?
Yeah.
What?
I know, right? So I'm
glad we'll never see that.
I know.
Yeah, totally ruined this whole show if they even showed it.
So I'm okay with more quiet shots of just kind of bouncing between him and the artifacts, even if it's repeating.
Yeah.
It's more like you're getting what he's thinking, kinda, out of it. So.
It was. I felt there was a little bit too much Chekhov's gun or something like.
Yeah.
This will be important later. Make sure you remember this. It's like okay.
Yeah. It's definitely a little too much for sure. I'm saying in concept, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not against the concept. This needs to be shot correctly.
Yeah.
All right, when we go to Chief going up to Quan and doing a self checkup,
She's like, "What are you, a robot?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "Are you fine?
Are you gonna die?
Are you gonna die?"
And he's just answering
No.
in the most generic way.
No.
No, I don't remember any other questions. I think she had.
Yeah,
another one
I
or two,
just
Just
but-
like, what are you doing? He's like,
Yeah, it was more for us, so we understand what he was
Yeah.
doing. He's doing a self checkup, and then the last question she asks
Doing
is there if
a-
there's any food on the ship.
yeah. He's
Yeah,
doing
when
a,
he's about to ditch her again.
Yeah.
yeah, he's doing a breast.
And then he does like a
self-exam, yeah.
head tilt, like, I guess I do gotta feed this little rat, don't I?
Rat. I get all my nutrients from a tube.
Yeah, and then we see, I guess, where Miranda works, where they're dissecting elites and
And we get to meet her
their
dad.
weapons and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
her dad.
Yeah, her
Yeah.
dad. We got Keys. Captain Keys here. Is he captain right now? I didn't.
I think he is a captain.
Yeah,
yes.
he's Captain Keys. Yeah.
At least like next to the admiral, like he's functioning as her agent on the base. So whereas the admiral is also running everything in the sector, he's the local sector commander, as far as I can understand. So like, he's next down on the chain of command, pretty much.
Sprinks, you want to talk about this at all, or not?
Well,
I don't know how much you care about this.
Well, while watching this, you informed me because I didn't. I watched this twice. you informed me that it was stated here that Key's or Miranda's mom is Halsey.
Yep. Which means, by extension, Keys is married to Halsey.
He's married
Yeah.
to Halsey. So
Or
that's what I was
he
informed.
was in a relationship with Halsey.
I
at least.
think
Yeah.
I feel like he should have had. I mean, he's a higher up rank, you know,
Yeah.
captain. I feel like he should have had a little more guards or some kind of bodyguard with him rather than just entering by himself. But it also makes sense. Like he probably can go anywhere of his choice.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
like,
at
if,
the
if,
headquarters,
if they're at the military
Yeah.
base, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like, yeah. If he was going outside a bunch, yeah, then
I think the conversation with Miranda was pretty good. He gave pretty much the statement. He didn't start off saying like, you know, sometimes we have to make hard choices. He stated the orders of what's already going into effect to, I guess, get her reaction out of first rather than trying to sugarcoat it or go smoothly with it.
Yeah.
So I think that was good.
Yeah, I do think this is a
Um,
half decent scene as well. Half decent.
The quote I wrote down is, "What's the point of saving humanity if we're killing our own?" Which I thought was a pretty good line. And it's kind of understanding like this is daughter, well, not daughter rebellion because she's older, but
They're
it's
out of
just
disagreement.
disagreeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disagreement, but it's not only like your superior officer, but it's also your father. So it's
what's
tying the
what-
two together.
Yeah.
what's one person
I-
versus a planet?
It is a very. I think it was a very good choice to introduce Keys this way, or her dad,
Yeah.
because you see him in a position where he is just going to be bluntly honest with his daughter, and I actually really like that.
I agree.
I do think what's the point of saving humanity line? I like it in isolation. I think here it's unfortunately just low hanging philosophy fruit.
That's my thought on it as well.
Yeah. Like I said,
I think that was the writers patting themselves on the back, thinking it was, like you said, philosophical and thought provoking.
like I said, it's a good line.
low-hanging.
I just think it's a line that needs to be earned. Because we don't know the state of the war yet. Like, this is a line that can be delivered, like, 4 seasons in, when we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of the war itself. That's when something like this would be far more powerful.
Pablo, genius.
We also find out Miranda does not like Halsey very much.
She's like a mom.
She's always in her way.
He's daddy's girl.
Halsey's always trying to interfere with Miranda's progress
Mhm.
in some way. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really grab much from that personally.
Yeah, it was kind of a meh
Surface
scene.
level.
Yeah.
Like I said, I guess the aspect the half decent aspect I appreciate about the scene is I like the relationship that the two of them apparently have. Because while they're not explicitly talking about their relationship, it's clear that they have this relationship, and I think that's what I liked the most about the scene.
Agree.
And she brings up what's going to happen with the kid, and Keys is like, Quan Ha was wounded and succumbed to her injuries. And she's like, what?
What? I just
She
talked to
looked
her like,
she looked fine to me.
yeah.
And I'm like, are you dumb? Come on, we know what this is.
That's why that I think Halsey is stopping your progress.
Yeah, and that's why you're not a military strategist in this universe. Like I do like it when she realizes what he means by it, but
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
think the journey to get there is definitely rocky. So I like the reaction that she has, but it's still problematic that she didn't figure it out that fast.
Greenlit in Article 72 came from the higher ups. Just letting you know.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, came down here to tell you in person. Like I
Yeah.
said, that to me is what makes the scene kind of. I do have a note, I guess, on the philosophy fruit. I'm like, you can't be human if there's no human left. Giving up on luxuries and making dark choices is preferable to human extinction. And then I wrote a question. Wait, what are the stakes of the human covenant war again?
our extinction that most of people don't even know is happening after years of fighting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I wanna-
see. Oh,
Sorry, I wanted to invite Sprinks back in the conversation because I did jump in, so I was wondering if you had anything you would like to add to this scene because like I said, I like it. I think it's a half decent scene, so I'm curious what else you got to say about it, if
The
you have
scene
any.
of father and daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
All right.
I didn't know if Article 72 was actually stated in the games or not, but
The only references that I think would exist about it is in the books because I know that it's not in the games. I know, like I said, but I haven't read all the books in a while. I want to reread the Cole Protocol because that was a very, very good book from what I remember.
Very, very good.
Anyways, sorry. All right, Crimson, take it away.
Yes, we see Quan eating food now.
Food?
I know, food. And she asked Chief, why isn't he eating anything? And he's like, I didn't see anything I like. She's like, what? And he's like, nuts, bolts, and microchips. And he's like, that was supposed to be a joke. I actually found that kind of amusing.
Yeah,
I know it's kind of a lame joke, but I like.
I actually liked it too. It was very the delivery also I think really helps because he delivers it in the most deadpan tone ever.
You can tell he's like trying to be funny, but he's never like been.
He's never made a joke before.
Yeah, he's never made like a joke. Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah, well, that was pretty good. And Quantum start talking, and she's like, "We met before." He's like, "Oh, really? Where? When you killed my mom? Way to kill the mood, Quan."
yeah, way to ruin it.
He just tried to be friendly and make a joke with you, and you're like, "You killed my mom."
But now we know why her daddy prioritized Chief for a very brief moment.
Because Jin didn't want her as a daughter.
Yeah,
he just loved his wife. She was a mistake.
I also brought up. I was like, okay, well, yeah. If he killed like their mom, yeah, that makes sense why you should. But then, okay, he kills one Covenant, and they're immediately cool. Like, okay, you're fine. all those grudges I held against you for years are like gone. I mean,
mostly a joke, but yes.
yes.
Yeah, and him and his team were ordered to kill the leader of the. Whatever the problem was going on at the time.
Yeah,
it was. They were supposed to infiltrate a terrorist, like a terrorist cell, or like they were supposed to destroy. They were responding to a bomb threat, and then the orders changed for them to fucking murder everyone there, pretty much.
Yeah.
Classic,
and he's like. She's like, why would you do that? He's like, well, the higher-ups could have more information that I don't know about. And she's like, well, that could go the other way around, too. And he's like, so do you question everything? And he's like, yeah. That's pretty much that, I think.
That was such a weird interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I know what they're trying to do here, and I think it's being done absolutely pathetically.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're trying to have, like two sides of the, it's not just one thing, but it's like, if it's executed poorly, it just comes off like being like too preachy.
Yeah.
Or like annoying, and that's exactly how it comes off. And it's like, I agree with both sides of it, but it's like, if it's not done right, it is just annoying. It's not like an actual like conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then he gets the Article 72 alert, and he looks through and like, what's your name?
He's got a picture on his HUD too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he won. Honestly, I interpreted that not necessarily him being dumb. It was just him double checking the order.
Yeah.
I mean,
funny.
I'm sure that's what they meant for it, but yeah, it was like, it made him look like an idiot.
Yeah. And she's like, well, how much longer is left? And several hours. And what happens when we get there? It hasn't been decided yet. And I just wanted him to shoot her in the face and say not long. It would have been beautiful. I don't think it would have been in his character, but it would have been.
I mean, this isn't
It would've
Chief.
been
This isn't
perfectly
Chief, so
timed,
we can remember we can separate this out. So you can want something totally different from this character because it's not Chief.
It's true.
True.
And then he goes and turn off the cameras to the ship.
Yes, he does.
Now he's officially a rebel. A rebel rouser.
Oh, rebel rouser.
Yeah, Halsey gets called in by the admiral and shown that
What's
Chief.
her? Margaret Polonsky?
Admiral Parandowski.
Parandowski.
Yes.
Parangosky, sorry.
I wanna. I
Do
should
it.
look up.
I know what you want. Go ahead.
No, I don't. I want to see a. I want to watch an interview or something else with that actor, because I want to see if they were putting on an accent or not, because it didn't feel real to me.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It seemed, well, I'm saying that like it felt stereotyping is what I'm saying.
Alright, so now that we're here, we have our admiral standing in her
For regalness.
in her regalness, not in her military uniform, now at the center of the station. So now I'm just going to complain about this.
Go on.
I just want to tell your VFX department and costume designers, if you have a military officer and they're in a dress like in The Last Jedi, or here when they're not in their uniforms with their men, or they're in their army, that's kind of problematic, and it throws me the fuck out, and it will throw other members of your audience out. The first one, she could have been off duty, but she's clearly on duty here. She should be wearing her uniform.
Yeah, but she didn't expect this problem, so.
She didn't have a problem.
No, she didn't know there was a problem coming up. She didn't have time to change. I don't know. I'm not going to argue about it. I don't care about it really.
I don't care.
It's not a character break. It's not like the worst thing ever in the world.
Yeah,
it's a minor complaint. It is definitely a nitpick. So I'm not going to die on this hill. I'm just pointing out that it's a problem for some people like myself.
True.
Yeah.
The man's not wrong.
Yes, the admiral's like, "What's Chief doing?" Halsey comes over and is like, "Well, he's just having some neural issues, just technical glitches and all that."
This is a little bit more than a glitch, Doctor.
Yeah. And Halsey's like, "Well, this is what the Cortana program would help with." And the admiral's like, "No cloning, no Cortana."
Yep. What a shame.
No cloning, no Cortana.
I don't want a live-action body Cortana in this show either. It's okay. I'm on the Admiral's side for this one. Now that I know that thing is supposed to be Cortana.
Oh, God. Anything up to this point, Springs?
I mean, I'm still in agreement. I think Halsey is definitely this whole table scene, just bullshitting any sense of what Chief is doing.
Yeah. I do have something to bring up because we glossed over it. Chief is apparently known everywhere because he is propaganda. Like the UNSC use him as the poster boy. Like he's what you find on all the posters and stuff to inspire the troops and stuff like that, which is fine in I guess in this universe. But I'm used to the Spartan program, I guess, being like undercover ops because they originally were used to quell insurrections. That's why they were made. Obviously, that changed with the advent of the Covenant Wars beginning, but I'm okay with Chief being used as the poster boy. I suppose I just need more justification for why he's the poster boy and why this isn't a Black Ops organization, because the war's going well, right?
He's the chief.
Yeah, he's the
you don't
chief.
need any more. Yeah.
You don't need anything.
So they decide to remotely turn off the oxygen on
On the ship.
the Condor.
Yeah.
And to his suit.
Yes, that they Saline dropped the suit to 40% oxygen, so he's just unconscious and not dead. So they covered that as well. I didn't catch that the first two times. But
Yeah, it's weird that they didn't. Yeah, make that a bigger thing.
It's definitely a throwaway line. It's there. It's still a problem. Well, I would
Yeah,
believe that they have access to the suit more than it would the ship.
Yeah, I believe that way more.
Yeah.
And then Quan's like stumbling through and what are you doing to me? This doesn't feel right. And falls over and Chief catches her. And that's when they turn on the oxygen suit. And she falls over unconscious, presumably, because even they say he's unconscious now.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Chief, and his hand reaches and grabs a panel.
Yeah.
So, where did the second wind come from? According to them, he's
Chief.
unconscious. They have
He's
his
special.
vitals and stuff.
Maybe he touched the McMuffin. McGuffin McMuffin.
The McMuffin.
Sorry, McGuffin McMuffin.
No,
You know, might as well call it the McMuffin.
Yeah,
It's got
call it
nothing
Mc-
else.
Yeah. I'm assuming, like, I know that interacting with four artifacts can change you, and I'm pretty sure that's how the writers are going to justify this going into the future, because otherwise this is just shit.
Oh, he still needs oxygen to breathe.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You
So
have to have oxygen to breathe.
yeah, he rips off the panel where he restores oxygen to the ship, but not his suit
Yeah.
at the time. So I don't know how that got fixed.
I don't know. Like, well, we know the suit has a separate environmental thing, but I'm assuming it doesn't have to work if you're in an environment that can help you, or like has the environment you can find livable. But there needed to be a throwaway line here to kind of justify that.
Well, they could even remotely turn that off if that function exists too.
Yeah.
True.
Because they still got control of Chief.
Yeah. Why didn't they just drop him into armor lock? I have no fucking clue.
What's armor lock? I don't know.
It doesn't exist in this universe.
Yeah, and then the Admiral freaks out.
Yeah,
I guess somewhat justifiably, because he's their super weapon.
He's their super weapon. He's their propaganda piece, and she's not gonna take any chances. She puts the whole base on general alert.
Yeah, Keys was like, all right, let's send a few Pelicans. She's like, no, we're going full squadron protocol.
Which is,
And
I guess,
activates the entire base, essentially.
yeah.
I couldn't really tell the motive if it was kill or capture for the most part.
I don't think she was going to take any chances. I know Halsey was 100% more on the captures team.
Yeah. But yeah, we get a shot of Marines grabbing guns, Pelicans readying
Oh, the
up.
BRs are here.
Classic rollout, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think the rollout is cool, because I do think the show gets most of Halo's aesthetics pretty well.
Yeah.
We get Silver Team armoring up, getting ready to apprehend Chief.
And they get some news from Halsey.
Yeah. Springs, you want to see what Halsey says here?
Halsey says something along the lines like, protect Chief at all costs, kind of. Make sure he's essentially in one piece. And the sniper, you said Kai?
Her name is Kai. Yeah.
Kai goes even like engage friendlies, and I forget the other dude's name. The one standing in the middle.
Or something.
Vanek.
Varric?
But
Vanek.
I think he says my favorite line in the episode is if they go after Chief, they are not friendlies.
And that's what I think about the writers whenever I hear about this show.
It was laughable. That
Yeah.
line.
Like I said, this line would work in a circumstance where these were actual characters, and we saw their relationship with the Chief, and we saw that they were like a band of brothers kind of thing. This line would work. It does not work here. But it is a great meme, because this is what I'm going to use whenever I learn more about the Halo writers. This is what I'm going to ascribe to everything that they do. If they go after Chief, they're not friendlies.
I'll throw out another fail to the HUD team, unfortunately.
Oh.
I got another
yeah.
fail to go up right after you, so keep going. Yeah.
That when Vanek armored up and we had a POV shot, through his HUD, it showed a DMR up top with like half the clip used up, and then we cut out of POV of him getting off his little armor up station, and he has no gun.
Okay, fucking why? One. Yeah, that's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah,
I
he
also
didn't have a gun and half a clip. What the heck is that?
Yeah. I will also add a little bit more into the scene. She's like, Admiral Parangosi's orders are to, bring the chief, and I am superseding those orders. She says in front of Marines running right behind her.
Yeah. In the open.
Yeah, in the open for everyone to fucking hear her say this to the Silver Team. So great work, Halsey. Wonderful. Not the intelligent character I know anymore.
Well, she's scientifically smart. She's not. She's not socially smart. Yeah, common sense smart. Yeah.
Yeah. And we get onto the ship, and Quan has a gun pointed at Chief.
Yeah, she's got the battle rifle.
Take away this.
Oh, I mean, I could, but
would.
I mean, I'm passionate about this scene, but yeah, okay. So, Quan shows up with the battle rifle. She threatens Chief, and he's just kind of looks at her, goes back to working, and then she's like, "I will kill you," and then that prompts Chief to stand up and just explain to her that the bullets are gonna fucking do nothing to fucking his Mark 6 Milner armor, which I guess is technically accurate.
Titanium.
Yeah, like this armor's like titanium something, but it's the Mark 6 armor, so and also he has shields, so he's gonna be perfectly fine. He's gonna be able to defend himself. It's all right, I'm gonna actually pass the torch here because I gotta get through some screenshots. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, got the point. Gun pointed at him. He does this whole explanation about his bullets won't do anything, and then we see the front part of his mask pop off, and then you just have this sinking feeling that he's about to take off his helmet. And what does he do?
Well, there's nothing is shown of how his helmet did that. He didn't say anything. He didn't push a button. He didn't.
Well,
yeah, Cortana could just sense that he needed to pop his helmet. Oh wait, no, she's not.
Cortana.
Yeah.
There's no Cortana in this.
I don't know how his HUD works. I don't know if he can if it tracks eyes and maybe there's like an eject button or something. I don't know. Because we have that technology today for disabled people.
Yeah.
Where we can track eye movements. So, I'm willing to believe that, at least, even though they don't show that. He takes off his helmet. And we get to see his beautiful big-nosed face.
I hated it so much.
Sinister was very vocal about it.
Yeah.
Bad.
That's the face of Master Chief right there.
Sinister, you compared it to John Berthal, and I was...
Yeah. But I recognize that actor, and I actually, because he's from The Wire.
Because I think the actor does a fine job, but I just why
just don't want to
why
see his face.
Why are you taking the helmet off? Like the lady's pointing a gun at you.
Yeah, if you want to shoot me here.
They didn't even do like the Mandalorian thing of waiting till the end of the season to do it. They just did it in the first episode.
Yeah, and it's so terrible. And then we go to the Admiral, and they're hologram.
Wait, how did it end up? What did you shoot him?
Well, we have to go back to them for that.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
Yeah,
they should have wrapped that scene up in one go. It's not that long.
Oh, we go back to the Admiral, and
oh my God, he took his helmet off.
They're like, what just happened? And Halsey's assistant's like, I think he just took his helmet off. And Halsey just looks concerned.
Yeah, Halsey just looks concerned. Which at this point, she's running out of excuses, so I would be concerned too.
And it's also brought up that. Oh, actually,
what
I was going to say this is when they bring up the thermal imaging. Is it?
No, it's after.
Yeah. No, they bring up the thermal imaging, seeing that she has a firearm, and he took his helmet off. And then we go back to Quan, and they do that passing back and forth of the
Yeah.
Yeah, they
battle
kick it
rifle.
for you. Little pong for you.
Yeah, back and forth. Oh no, you have it. No, you have it. We have trust now. We're best pals.
It's like,
You're gonna need that.
it's like,
when they
like
come and
you,
get
I
us.
mean, like, yeah, this is so. Okay, no, I'm just gonna let this one go.
Oh, but they're totally besties now. They
My
weren't total opposites.
my
up
my
until
main
this point.
problem, logistically, as a writer, comes after this, where he doesn't put the helmet back on because he's, as far as he knows, he's going back into combat. And I think a HUD would be useful for that.
Well, it could be tampered with remotely, right? They could just turn off the screen. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, we go back.
Because I was like, hey, his armor doesn't work if he doesn't have like the full suit of armor on, right? Like his shield. And Crimson was like, I don't know, but probably not.
Because they never really explored that in the games. Because they don't take off
they
their
did.
armor.
Well, yeah, because he
They
never
do in
took his
Reach,
helmet off.
but they don't get shot with their helmet off. So
No, so it immediately destroys
yeah,
whatever you
don't
said.
know.
Go on.
Well, even in Reach, we know. Well, I guess the only sign that we have how shield generators work in Reach is that they turn off their shields when they're not in combat because it takes a lot of power to run them.
Yeah.
Hence Cat.
Hence, Cat getting her brains blown out.
Cat.
But
Cat. In French,
Yeah.
shot chapeau.
yeah, I don't think there's any
Yeah.
specific examples.
Yeah.
When we go to the Admiral saying, did the chief just give a rebel a gun? Something along those lines?
What?
And Halsey looked even more concerned again.
Halsey's doing a great job looking concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what her actress is known for, looking concerned.
Yeah. Is this when they activate the autopilot, or was that?
This is when they.
earlier?
This is
We
when
just
they.
talk about it.
This is where they. This is where they move to
they-
deactivate it. Yes.
Yeah, they deactivate the autopilot, which seems kind of pointless if the guy is supposed to be a great pilot. It seems sort of unnecessary.
Yeah, but he was depressed, so.
Oh, you're right.
He didn't want to fly.
Hypnotized.
Well, that's how it worked in Breaking Bad. So.
Yeah. So Chief explains to Quan how to disable the autopilot, which I don't think she would have gotten that quick because I certainly wouldn't have.
What are you talking?
Which is I think adds to her shooting it at the end of it.
Yeah, which I wrote when in
it.
doubt, shoot it in my notes, which works.
You could do more damage than good though.
Could have. It works. Autopilot's down, and we go back to the UNSC headquarters part, and the Admiral orders Keys to knock it down.
Yeah, and he activates he orders the EMP weapon to fire.
Yep.
The EMP.
You gotta throw out at least one Red vs. Blue reference here. It is Halo.
I put one in.
Yeah, I got a few. Blarg.
Yeah. What?
I keep calling it a pelican. It's not the pelican.
It's a condor.
It's a condor.
It's a condor.
So similar.
A condor is a oversized pelican, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's why it was frickin' TARDIS on the inside.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I'm familiar with the condor is because it's a vehicle that primarily shows up in Halo Wars 2 as it's basically the equivalent to the Scarab. It's what the UNSC has instead of a Scarab. It's a very overpowered gunship. When asked how many missiles they were outfitting to this ship, they simply said yes. All of them.
It's true.
Which at some point the Admiral asks what type of weapons they have on this.
We don't know.
And then Halsey's like, Chief won't use weapons. And she's like, how do you don't even know what he's doing right now. But that was really knock it down. Chief's the ship's down. And the Admiral I guess I do know her attention. I wrote that down. Admiral was like, drop Quan and Chief if he acts up.
Mhm.
So now she officially put a kill order on Chief if he acts up.
And I also there is something I will say about the scene. One of the few things that I like what's going on is I actually like the way Halsey and Keyes interact in the scene, because they just look concerned at each other, like they exchange glances every now and then when they're being talked down to by the Admiral, which kind of implies to me that they're on the same team together. They can't do anything to help one another right now, which I do like the subtlety in their actors here for that, because the actors are pretty much writing for the characters right now. Whether it's going to continue, I have no idea, but it is something I did like.
Yeah, and we get shots of the Spartans coming up onto the ship, and the Marines are putting explosives on the door to open it. And Chief is just sitting there looking at the artifact while Juan is at the door with the battle rifle saying, "What are we doing, Chief? Do you have a plan?"
The MacGuffin
What's
McMuffin
going
is
on?
more is calling to him.
They pretty much keep jumping back and forth between Chief and the army, trying to build tension.
Yeah. We do see the Spartans. We do see the Spartans come up behind the Marines, and like aim their guns at them, and the Marines stop what they're doing, and they just kind of look back, surprised.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I just thought they were prepping their guns for the breach.
And you watch this?
Oh
like,
no, they actually aim their guns at the Marines. So the Marines
what the heck were all those other Marines looking at?
They were looking off into space. They were taking selfies. They were getting ready for, this is Chief we're talking about, right? Like, they don't have the kill order, right? Right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, they don't.
So they just want to get their picture and their autograph, because,
Their picture and autograph. Yeah.
And anything up to this point, Sprinks? It's been a while.
It was a little earlier, but just passing the gun back and forth to me was like a basketball, like checking the ball.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was. Kept kicking it back and forth.
The conversation conch. What is it called?
Oh.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember.
I don't think we're necessarily there yet, but I'll just put it out there. When they're about to bridge the door, the Spartans take positions, but their positions are like end game screen poses.
Yeah.
From like multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool pose.
Cool pose, man.
Yeah, they cool pose, and they still aim at the Marines. So.
I mean, yeah, two of them are aiming off to the left and right, and only one's looking at the door.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the one that's aiming at the Marines can knock those 3 Marines, while the other 2 just keep the other Marines off his back temporarily. Yeah, but that doesn't happen. So.
And then Chief, I believe, just touches the artifact.
Yeah, it's been playing this whole time.
So the artifact is making some humming noise. So it is calling to him in some fashion.
To him, yeah.
That's the only explanation I can think of to why he thought that would do anything. Because the first time he grabbed it, it didn't do anything other than give him a memory and activate the walls of the dig site. The second time he grabbed it, which was to retrieve it, nothing happened at all, which is something I didn't point out either. Yeah. And then this time it releases an EMP that pretty much wrecks the whole place.
Yeah, shuts down everything. Yeah.
And they bring auxiliary power back online. And the Condor powers up. It does the opposite.
How magic.
Yes, with the magic.
Yeah, it takes all the energy of the base and puts it right back into the...
Honestly, that's sinister. That's kind of what I thought it was doing.
Yeah.
Because because you see the lines going up throughout the ship. Yeah. So that's what I assumed it was doing, but...
I'm sure that
Yeah.
That sounds like
We're
really
applying
stupid, but
logic
I'm
where
sure that's what.
there's none.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I agree.
Let's just say, for the sake of it, that's what it was doing, even though it makes zero logistical sense. But
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, and Quan looks back at him and is like, "What is that?"
What?
Mirroring the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Halsey smiles while she's looking through
Yeah.
the
She
thermal.
looks like enthralled of what
yeah.
just
She's like,
happened.
"Oh my god, this is the answer."
Yeah, and then Chief's like, "Buckle up, let's go." And they leave.
And that
Is the end
It's the end, I
of
believe.
this
that's
horrible.
the Halo pilot.
Yeah.
That's the end of this horrible fucking mess.
That's the simple plot of the Halo TV pilot.
So, as we covered, very faithful adaptation to the source material.
Obviously, yeah.
Great characters. Every art department member did great.
I mean, like the only
okay.
credit I can give them is that I'm glad that they went with the road of making it so like it's not canon as far as like the game time, or you know, like the game reality. It's a separate
Yeah.
one,
And
which
just once again the Halo IP getting wasted.
because I'm a big fan of the Halo Legends. You know, that they did years ago, where they had a bunch of different animators and
Yeah.
company.
It's kind of what they do with
It's kind of
what they did with Star Wars Visions. I liked that too a little bit.
Yeah, and it seems like it's like I think you can make a good Halo show that doesn't require you to have Master Chief in it. You know what I mean? And we've had like game like ODST and Reach that
Halo Wars.
it works. Yeah, and Halo Wars that like it works. So it's like I get like okay, this is like the first kind of like show outing, so you want to like bring in the big guns just so you're safe. But like it doesn't really cover up anything if it's shitty, because if it's shitty, it's just gonna ruin the character.
This show was rumored, I think, 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years
to be in the works.
Yeah,
8
This is what we
years.
got.
What?
Yeah,
well, not this specific show, but like the idea of a Halo.
Halo show.
Yeah,
I don't
a
know.
Halo
I
show.
think they started planning this out 4 years ago.
2019, I think, about maybe.
Like I know the original director. By the way, behind the scenes hell for this entire show.
Oh yeah.
So many Halo projects have been canceled for
Yeah.
movies and shows.
Yeah, the director was walked out from this. Some of the original writers walked out. It was this went through production hell. I'll say that. So for as like surface level aesthetically good that this is, they did a decent job.
I mean, it looks, with the exception of some of the CGI in the first battle, it looks pretty good. Like it's not,
it
They do
aesthetically
well
looks like
with
Halo.
establishing
Yeah.
shots
Yeah.
and just locations. They do quite well.
Agreed.
I guess we'll go to ratings now. We'll go with Ryder first, I guess. What's your ratings?
Oh boy, my rating. Let's see. All right. I think I'm gonna get my subjective out of the way first. Just purely because there's a level of like I said, there's part of me that typically enjoys watching bad shows and just seeing where they can go. I did smirk at a few things, but it's purely because I'm a fanboy of the games. But mostly, this just hurt for me. Like, my smirking and my laughter at things were very, very limited, because Halo is, like Star Wars, is one of those things I grew up on. Like, has a very fundamental place in my heart. So watching what is a great story and a great IP being wasted like this just, I guess, brought my subjective score down. But I will say there is some charm to this in the visual effects department. Like, it does look like Halo. It has the aesthetic very, very much, and I appreciate looking at it whenever it's there. But so yeah, I'm gonna for subjective. I'm probably gonna give this a 4. Very tentative. I don't think I'm gonna enjoy rewatching this or finishing the show.
Mm.
But for my objective, um, and this is just based off the pilot because I can't really. I don't want to. I don't know much
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
rest of the show. But it's bad. I
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, I think my favorite character is General Jin, and that's purely because he's a very very simple character that doesn't exist in the games, and he wasn't ruined per se. I thought the actor did a good job portraying General Jin.
He just valued his wife more than his daughter.
Yeah, um, obviously. Um, I think the plot of this is convenience, but it's not broken. Um, I think the world building is fucking ass. World building in of itself, I think, is the worst aspect of this show, along with the characters. Because the world building, I had no idea what the state of the universe I'm in is. This is the episode 1. I don't know if there's lines of dialogue that implied that the Covenant are just whooping our asses, humanity's asses, or if it's just, or if we're actually holding our own and doing well. Because, and we've been fighting them for years, evidently. So I can only assume that we're doing well because we still have outer colonies. So it's not. They're definitely going with something different because it's not a war of extermination against humans. But that being said, I still don't know the state of the war. I don't know the state of the galaxy. I don't know what our standing is. I don't know a lot of things. I'm left with a lot of questions. And having seen this show, the first episode, I don't know if I trust the writers to give me satisfying answers. I think the actor who plays Chief does a serviceable job. Most of his material is okay. I do think he makes a very, very dumb decision in taking off his helmet. I do think he makes. This is obviously a very different Master Chief than from what I know, because this Chief is more uncaring. And this would more hit my subjective score than my objective one. But I do think it's a lot of wasted potential in this because Chief is like the epitome of what the Mandalorian show tries to accomplish in the games. He is always wearing his helmet, and yet his body language is enough to convey what he is thinking, what he's feeling. And the Chief I know cares about people, so walking away from Quan, the lone survivor, was a bit off-putting. And like it helped inform to me that this is not my hero, Master Chief. That being said, I think in this, as far as I can understand, Chief is not necessarily stupid. He's, except for the one glaring issue of him taking off the helmet, he's just different. I think he's mostly consistent with what little character I can see from him. I think Halsey's, again, going based off the first episode, is mostly consistent as well. She's mostly worried about her Spartans and keeping the project alive. I think Miranda Keyes was butchered in one scene. I think Quan is a terrible character in that same scene. I think what other goodwill I could have had towards these characters was ruined by their interaction with one another. Because it makes both characters look fundamentally stupid. I think Keyes is okay. He's intact. Like, they haven't done enough with him to ruin his character yet. Or they also haven't done enough for me to care about his character outside of the one scene he has with Miranda, which I think is the best scene in this show by far and away so far. And it's an average at best scene. And if I consider that scene an average at best, and I'm comparing it to the rest of this first episode, I can't, in good conscience, give this more than a 3 on my objective scale.
Fair critique, I think. Fair objective. I'll go next. So I'll also start with my subjective. I despise this. I hate this. I can't believe I had to watch it 3 times.
You
Yeah,
chose to watch
I
it 3
watched it
times. You only
once.
had to watch it twice.
I watched it once. I cannot imagine what it's going to be like having to rewatch this because my subjective score is going to drop. I'm sure.
It's just like you said. It's not the characters aren't the characters we know. It's not enjoyable in that fact, and at least in Jurassic World, we had the original characters and we get the nostalgia points. So subconsciously, you get some enjoyment out of it. At least I did. In this, I got nothing out of the characters for nostalgia. I got the visuals. The visuals were good, and context to how they appear in the games. We've obviously pointed out problems with the CG. And I mean, that's pretty much it. The story I can at least follow, kind of.
It's not broken yet.
But I'll cover more of that in my objective. So I'll say 2.5 subjective. It's pretty darn bad. And my objective, I'm trying to separate this from the main lore because that's how they want it. They want their own silver universe or whatever they called it. So, excluding what we know from the main game, I think they have a premise. We know the artifact is important. We know the Covenant wants it. And so that gives motive to the Covenant, I guess. We kind of understand where the Spartans are in public domain, where they're upper echelon, they're well known, and they're feared. So we know that. The characters, I agree where Miranda and Captain Keyes, I think I have a good dynamic between those two. Halsey and Captain Keyes has something as well. That's pretty much it. All the other characters I don't care or I don't like. And
Shocker.
I think that's the failing on writing, unless my thoughts on it. So I think 3.5 is fair because at least there's something here where I think in Jurassic World we couldn't understand the story really. It's really bare bones. This at least has something to work off of. So I think 3.5 is fair. Sinister. What do you got?
The parts that I liked about watching this were just because I found it very funny for how bad it was. Because it at times it does go into, oh, it's so bad it's good because of how, you can get a lot of humor out of it if you watch it with somebody else. But I think if I'd watched it by myself, I would have just not liked it at all. So it came close to that, but I don't think it ever even reached that, kind of enjoyment level, other than, if you watch it with a bunch of people that are, I think, at least somewhat cognizant, you can probably make fun of it pretty easily. But so yeah, it's not great.
This would be a fun drinking game kind of show.
It would, yeah. It's definitely up there. And every shot would probably make it a little bit better.
What would the shots be every time they screwed up?
Yeah, every time that they wrote something that was definitely either just to get brownie points or was just like copy and pasted from any kind of like philosophical war movie or show. But so the good parts of it that I liked about this was, a lot of the visuals, with the exception of kind of like the first ones, are good. They nailed down a lot of the look from the game. The HUD was, I guess, iffy, but overall, I thought like the appearances and the locations were really good. Couple, the Master Chief was the guy who acted as him did I think a decent job. I'm sorry that he didn't have better stuff to work with, but I I think he's not a bad choice
Mhm.
as long as he keeps the helmet on. So I'm gonna give this a 3. There's some kernels of stuff in here that I think, in the right hands, could have been good, but I think overall you're gonna be finding yourself missing out, and you should probably just play the Halo games instead.
Yeah.
Definitely endorse that.
100% endorsement from me as well. on
Yeah.
That one.
And Sprinks.
All right. So this is both scorings or just objective right now?
Well,
we
Ryder and I both said subjective, objective. Sinister
Oh.
just has the combined, remember?
My apologies. Okay. Well, I liked the look of the armor. I liked all the practical looks. I liked the look of the guns. The explosions look cool. Even the AK guns, they look cool. I think all the future tech, like the Pelican, look cool. All the holograms, the hologram of Miranda Keys, I thought was very cool looking. So all of that I did like. I think the the elites looked fine. They could have been better, but they looked fine. I think a lot of it looked cool. Something I didn't like that looked bad is the forest at the beginning and how damn yellow it was. That it was hurting my eyes how yellow that was. That was like the complete opposite of what Matrix does with green. That was like a no-go.
Yeah.
So you think they heavily filtered it?
It was just yellow everywhere.
It was weird that we transitioned from desert to like a forested area.
That was something I was going to bring up, but I didn't know if
It was a small. It was a nitpick. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, Springs.
No, that's fine. And I don't. That was a choice for them to make, and ouch. I think the artifact looked cool in the way it like technologically moves around and kind of like grids its path of what it does.
Mhm.
I liked all the sounds of the shield breaking, shield recharging, the gunfire. All the sounds sounded fine to me. The story itself, I think it's different for me, being that I've only beaten 2 Halo games, so it's kind of not as jarring to me, probably. So I think for what it was fine. I think most of it, to me, kept reminding me of it was just a Mandalorian copycat of going against orders to save a kid. And I do believe that the removing the helmet was probably the worst decision that they could have done, especially, I mean, for episode 1.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Save us wanting something, guys. Seriously.
Yeah. So my objective, I give a 5. Objectively, and my subjective for which is odd, being a TV 14 rated show, based off an M game and how just gory and violent they were able to make the beginning, which really hooked me. And then it definitely got slower. There wasn't much action afterwards, but it still looked good. The pacing was fine to me. I like the back and forth kind of at the end of Chief and Quan, and then Halsey and Keys. Just kind of how faster paced that was between the two. So yeah, subjectively, I give it a 7.
All right, you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is fair enough.
I guess that pretty much covers Halo.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
The Paramount Plus
Paramount
show.
Plus TV show.
Yeah.
Which
gotta word
was
that in.
greenlit to have a season 2 before season 1 came out, which shows how confident they were.
IMDb gave it a 7 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes it's like a 6.9 or something.
I guess Paramount paid for stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it's pretty much how I see those. Yeah.
Yeah. No way. IMDb is usually reliable. That's not believable. That score there. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, 69% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Rough. Well, I guess if you guys want us to continue this, let us know in the comments. We might do it.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
I think though, just know that if we do, it's probably going to be a really, really more engrossing, bigger project than our normal one. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll probably cover the whole season rather than episode
Probably.
by episode.
Yes.
maybe, but I don't
But you
know.
guys really need to have interest. So
We spent you need to like put us in the Halo show, and then we'll review our acting in the Halo.
Yeah.
I would only mocap an elite. I wouldn't
You
take
would-
any
and-
character in
and-
this.
Please.
I would like to be in the writer's room
Blood
so I can yell at everyone. That would be my dream job right now.
See, but you're not the writer; they are. So they
Yeah,
can't do
yeah,
that.
you would. You could be in the writer's room. You'd be a meta role. Like,
I mean, I would be the one. I'd be the thing that haunts them in that room. So I'd be okay with that. If I cannot physically write the show, I'm going to stand over their shoulder and make them do something better.
Well, I'll wrap this up here. Leave comments, all that stuff. Follow
Yeah, we
us
got
on
our
our
socials.
socials, which are in the description. And we're on a bunch of other platforms, which are also listed in the description. Follow us on all that stuff.
Like, the big places like Spotify, the big ones.
big boys.
Go-tos. And we'll sign off here. Boom.
All right. As always, I've been a geeky writer.
I'm Crimson Rune.
I've been a character called Sinister Boy.
And I'm Sprinks.
And we will all catch you next time. Later, everybody.
Bye.